welcome to episode 207 of Retro Encounter, RPG Fans Weekly Podcast. I'm Nathan Lee, and I'll be your host for the special Spoilercast episode of Retro Encounter. This week's topic is Fire Emblem Three Houses, the latest entry in Nintendo's perennial strategy RPG franchise. For today's topic, I brought Foland's top professors together to discuss everything Fire Emblem Three Houses. Joining me today is my outspoken Fire Emblem partner in crime, Leona McCallum.
Hello there.
And then we have the S-rank support pair of Kyle and Katherine Kortvely.
Hello.
I'm back!
Welcome back, Kyle and Katherine.
S-rank support, I love that.
I know, I thought of that myself.
Oh yeah, that is that's right. I just realized what you just got done. I see what you did there.
Alright, so I think this is the first time I've really had the opportunity to talk to you guys, Kyle and Katherine, I think on the podcast. So, and I think I've asked the panelists to share their experiences with Fire Emblem in general. So how did we all get into the series?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, sure.
Well, my first Fire Emblem I got for the Game Boy Advance, and I think it was the Sacred Stones. And I found it the most difficult game I'd ever played. But I loved it, and I kept trying, but I don't think I completed it until I was older. I think I was young at the time. But then I got Path of Radiance, and that really got me interested in the series, and I fell in love ever since, and played everyone since then.
All right, how about you, Kyle?
I think for me, it was when the official title for the GBA came out. I think it was called Blazing Swords, but it was just titled Fire Emblem with Lin and Company. That was my first Fire Emblem I got into. I guess I didn't appreciate it as much as I did until, again, I'm sure this is going to be a common thing, until I got into Path of Radiance. And I thank Katherine for that one, since she had the game. But she also then got me into the sequel game, which she didn't have, which is Radiant Dawn, which is equally good for the Wii. But with both companion games after that, that was just, I started to play every single Fire Emblem game that I can probably get my hands on.
All right, nice. And Katherine, is about the same?
Mine route was a little bit different. So, having an older brother, we used to always play fighting games. And once Smash came out and Marth got introduced, it's like, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's really cool. But I didn't really get into Fire Emblem until Ike was introduced. Ike is always going to be my MC for Smash. And then I was wondering, where the hell is he from? So after doing some research, and my brother informed me, I had gone out to a GameStop when GameStop was still carrying GameCube games, and I got a buy one, get one deal. So that's where I had gone Path of Radiance to first try the journey, and just knowing how the SRPG format is and how different, I just fell in love with the characters, the plot, and from there, I've just been enjoying every installment since.
Oh, nice story. I actually started with Path of Radiance myself. I went off. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us would say.
See, Ike, it is all about you. It is.
No, Ike is still my favorite character in Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. But I went over to a friend's house and I noticed that he was playing. I noticed he was playing Path of Radiance, and that's what kind of got me interested. I knew about Fire Emblem from Smash Melee because that's where I think a lot of people got introduced to Fire Emblem at first. Mm-hmm. So that's where. So when I found out he was playing Path of Radiance, and I got interested in picking up Fire Emblem, I think I borrowed it from him for a little bit, but I never got to finish it until later on when I bought my own copy. And the first one I kind of played more of is Sacred Stones, but I didn't finish one of those games until actually Radiant Dawn. So I actually finished Radiant Dawn before I finished Path of Radiance, which is kind of interesting.
Shame on you.
So I missed all the cool bonus stuff that you got for carrying a save file over from Path of Radiance. And then played every single Fire Emblem game since then.
Okay. I really like how Path of Radiance bind everybody together. Everyone can come back and say that Path of Radiance was the go-to game that introduced us to Fire Emblem and all of its great.
Well, the graphics at its time too, for being on the GameCube, was a huge enhancement to really enjoy it more.
But I think that's the last time we saw everything in 3D environment until all went handheld, and then when Three Houses came out. It was for me, when I saw Three Houses, it was oh my god, it's going to play not exactly, but it's going to play like Path of Radiance, and I'm so happy about this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think I should never picked it up because for whatever reason, I always thought the handheld games were still quote unquote 3D, even though they had the sprite art when you're on the 2D map. But I don't know. But when I saw Three Houses and saw everything was 3D, I just got reminded of Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance again. Alright, so before we dive into our discussions for Fire Emblem Three Houses, I want to ask everyone what route they did, and if you're still playing, what routes are you on right now?
Well, I did the Golden Deer route, aka the meme route. What about you, Kyle?
I unfortunately did the church route. I meant to do Edelgard's route, but of course and we might get into it a little bit later, I did not trigger an event that would allow me to get onto her route. But yeah, I inadvertently went to the church route, and I owned it. And it was fine. If I go back and play it again, I'll definitely go back and do Golden Deer.
And of course, I went the Bishonen route, aka the Blue Lions.
Yes.
And I went for Edelgard's route, the Black Eagles. So I thought was like when we were assembling the panel for the Spoilercast here, I thought it was crazy that we've actually have like all 4 panelists have played a different route. So this is like the only time I've seen on the internet so far where we have like all the panelists have played something different. So this should cover like the full range of
should be interesting.
Of everything.
Well, if anyone's listening right now, you can just listen to the whole podcast from start to finish, and you'll know everything about the game.
Pretty much, yeah. Mostly, yeah. Might be a couple of things I might miss here and there because there's so much to talk about. All right, so before we get straight into it, I just want to give a word of warning. So this is your last opportunity for anyone who happened to click this link on a whim and start this podcast just because you saw, this might be cool. So we are getting to massive spoiler territory right after this. So this is your last opportunity to leave. We're going to talk about our favorite characters. After A-rank support conversations, we're talking about the second half of the game, which is full of spoilers. This is like pretty much like we're going the full dive into this game. So this is give it guys about like 5 seconds before we get into it.
All right, they had enough, so we need to start talking about all this stuff.
Yeah, okay.
If they're still listening, then it's their fault at this point.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's get into it. So let's talk about the first twist for all of our routes. This is the only first twist of the story that's everyone has seen. So we may not know anything about anybody else's route, but this is the first thing we know, and that's the reveal of the Flame Emperor. And as well as Rhea, the chapter after that. So I think a lot of us were surprised when we saw it that when you unmask the Flame Emperor and in a lot of the routes, actually for Black Eagles, she just shows up. As I say she because Flame Emperor is Edelgard, who I don't think a lot of us saw coming unless you were you did Black Eagles on my route and she just shows up without the mask.
No, I when I was doing Blue Lions, I would honestly had no clue. But also too, I did question throughout as I was playing the game. It's like, why can't I have tea with Eldegard or Claude? Like, why can't I give them gifts? I questioned that, but then fought more into it.
I think the one thing that surprised me a little bit is that I don't know if it surprised me a little bit because of her being the Flame Emperor. I definitely felt like it was like, oh, okay. And then I started realizing, well, when did this all happen? And then I think when you're playing the Black Eagles route, when you see Hubert disappearing almost all the time and him wanting to kill you in some way and totally not looking evil in any way and doesn't appear to be evil in any way. Turns out, oh, man, they're actually evil. Well, I
not
can't
really.
That's an ambiguous thing, and it's
your interpretation.
Yeah.
Well, I played the Golden Deer route, and I was very surprised because I think that's the route where you get the least amount of foreshadowing that Edelgard is the Flame Emperor. I watched my boyfriend play the Black Eagles route simultaneously to me playing the Golden Deer route, and just conversations with Edelgard were so dark and foreshadowing, and it seemed like something was really up with her. And then I played the Blue Lions route, and you have this whole conversation about a dagger, and Dimitri practically spells it out that she's the Flame Emperor before the big twist. So I felt like the Golden Deer route definitely has the least foreshadowing in that one.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it for Black Eagles how Edelgard always talks about it's always this conversations about how she's going to remake the world, and that's basically what the Flame Emperor does. So, but for me, I wasn't like reading between the lines. So even when she still shows up as
Oh yeah,
the tomb,
even though
I
even
was,
though
yeah.
in her B support she shows that she has the crest of flames,
Yeah.
I still did not piece together before the twist
Yeah.
that she was the Flame Emperor. Even though I had looked on his little stat screen and saw that he also had the crest of flames.
So the one thing that kind of maybe a little bit micro suspicious is that at the very if you ever put Edelgard as like a mage class, which I kind of did, and I liked her at a mage class, I thought to myself, God, she's really good with flames, and she's doing all this flame stuff early on, and I didn't really put two and two together, and I think it's like in the back of my head, it's like, wouldn't it be kind of funny if she was working for the Flame Emperor or something? And then it turns out like she was a Flame Emperor. I'm like, oh. I just shook my head. It's like I think the foreshadowing was a bit strong and early. And like Nathan said, I didn't read between the lines too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember. So the first playthrough I did, because I wasn't sure what everyone would end up doing. I got Elgard to. She has a budding talent in reason, and then the magic she gets from is Bolganon, and it still didn't like put two and together that she likes like flames a lot. Anyway. And then after the Flame Emperor reveal, we had Rhea, like in the next chapter. I think for every other route besides Black Eagles, she shows up next as the dragon to defend the monastery, like at the end of the cutscene.
I just want to chime in right now.
Yeah.
I never trust no green hair people in this game. I am sorry. I cannot trust any green haired people.
It's a major staple for Fire Emblem. You can't trust green hair people.
No, ever since like when I first saw Rhea, she always felt suspicious. I'm sorry. No matter what, there's always something off about her. And just...
I mean... Yeah, the first time I saw Rhea, I was like, didn't I just see her in a cutscene before I loaded the game up?
Like the first cutscene in the game?
That was no surprise to me that she was Seros, because it's like, you just show her, she looks the same, identical. it's her. There's like no trying to hide who she is.
And then I questioned it too. It's like, I had a theory when I was very beginning playing the game. It's like, what if they're dragons because you don't see their ears? You really don't see the ears between like Flan, Rhea, and the other ones. Yeah, you don't see their ears. So I thought they have a connection or possibly with the dragon. So that's what I thought about.
Huh. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. For me, I didn't think Rhea would be Seros. I thought she would be like some descendant of Seros because of the connections she has to the church. But I think
what took me off that she was like definitely Seros is because I read the books in the library. Like as soon as you get access to the library, and it goes like, "Oh, the heroes lived for an extraordinarily long time." Like, what could this mean?
It's true that the books actually don't mention that Seros died or anything, so stuff like that. It's probably foreshadowed it.
There was a lot of foreshadowing going on early in the game, and I think it's stronger inside Edelgard's route than anything. And I might be corrected on that one, but it just feels as if they're like, something's amiss here. Something is building up to something. And I know this isn't like a big like, difference between the two of us, but when our dad died, we're in Dead Dad Club right now. But when our dad died, I was getting suspicion like the Flame Emperor shows up, and then after I replayed that back and after we revealed that Edelgard was Flame Emperor, I go back to that same situation. It's like, was Edelgard around there when the Flame Emperor showed up? Was she or was she not? I don't know if she was. And I guess that threw me off the scent a little bit because I thought the Flame Emperor was just someone different. But now going back at it, it's like, wait a minute. Bruce Wayne and Batman are not in the same room. Oh, no.
The game actually tries to trick you with that one because every time the Flame Emperor appears, all three protagonists disappear. Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude, they all disappear. So it could be any of them.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I started playing Golden Deer myself. I noticed that the same situation happened with Claude because the Flame Emperor shows up in that Remar village after you finish the mission. Claude also goes off to wander the town or look for survivors, something like that. Then the Flame Emperor shows up, and then Hilda's like, "Hey, where's Claude?"
Yeah.
But Hubert does the same thing with Edelgard when it does in Black Eagles. So
and Didu does it for Dimitri.
Mm-hmm. So you might be suspicious that your own house leader is the Flame Emperor.
But Rhea being the the dragon definitely took me by surprise. I was like, where are the dragons? Where's the dragon?
Yeah.
The mannequins.
The one problem that I had, because I got a chance to see both sides. I had a what if situation. And of course, Nathan can probably attest to this. So when I picked Rhea's side, oh God, it's like, let's kill her. She did like all this church, like blasphemy stuff. Now, on the flip side, if you protected Edelgard, it escalates so freakishly fast.
Yeah, I know.
Options. It goes from kill her to I'm pissed, and she's like, I'm a dragon now. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, like as soon as you decide to protect Edelgard, she immediately transforms into the Immaculate One. It's like that escalates. Like the story escalates so fast from there.
Yeah,
especially on Black Eagles.
Too fast.
Well, I mean, for me, like when Dimitri saw Edelgard behind the Flame Emperor's mask, and he just started to laugh crazy, and then just everything for him, no offense, went to crap. Like I felt so bad for Dimitri.
Oh, my baby boy.
I know.
Yeah. After the time skip, oh my God, I felt for that child.
I've seen some things.
I have a question about Rhea, actually.
Yeah.
So how much does Rhea play in the non-Golden Deer roots? Because I feel like I learn a lot about Rhea's backstory.
Heavily, in my opinion. Okay. I mean, at least with the church route, it's pretty heavy, because when you come back from the time skip, well, actually before the time, after time skip, you know that she's no longer there. She's no longer around. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing with all the other ones too. I'm not sure, but like she's heavily influenced even to the very final map that it comes back to. But it's extreme thing with Rhea. You know exactly who she is, what she is. What happens to her, what is happening to her, and everything else. And I'm not sure if that's the same thing inside the Edelgard route, though.
So what's happening to her in the church route? What's happening?
I feel almost. I know this is Spoilercast, but it's like
Spoilercast.
I know.
Spoilercast.
Let's just jump into it. So she gets kidnapped, more or less, and then we find her inside a dungeon, locked up, and she's very malnourished and everything.
Yeah,
like I'm weak and everything. But towards the end, she's like, well, I need to do a successor at this point, because I can't really control my form anymore, and I don't think I have enough energy to be my current self. And of course, I think it is the final map where she's like, in your middle of talking to her, she's like she's about to give birth to something, but she loses control and she becomes the Immaculate One is what it was?
Yeah.
And then she's just like this horrific looking dragon. And on a side note, segue here, I thought it was funny, and I commented this too. It's like, wouldn't it be funny if Rhea's like profile icon turns into a dragon icon? And it does. And I'm like, it's funny because she starts talking as a dragon now, and there's this dragon icon that's talking. And I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I think it ultimately for her, for the church route, it's kind of a ending of Rhea's reign. That actually sounds like it goes together. But Rhea's reign gets demolished, and you become the next. Well, I think you become the next line for the church, regardless, except for Edelgard's route, I think.
Yeah, because Edelgard's route, she basically abolishes the religion altogether.
yeah, that was her whole vendetta. That's interesting. It's very different from what the Golden Deer route was, because in the Golden Deer route, Rhea is actually a very friendly force. She stays alive the entire game. You learn all about her people and what the relic stones are, and all that. It's the relic weapons or the bones of her family.
Yep.
And the relics, the crest stones, are the hearts of her people after they've been murdered, and those who slither in the dark turned them into these awful relic weapons.
See, that's interesting, because I don't recall them actually going over that. I learned what you were saying right now later on, but I don't remember her recalling what the relic weapons actually do or what it is. I do know that her followers, which are Flan and Sedith, at the time, are like, well, we're dragons as well, type of thing.
The green hair, I told you that green hair.
Yeah, I know, but it's like in the back of my head, what red flagged me about Flan, for example, time skip happened. She's the only one that didn't age.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
like,
Yeah.
come on.
only child character to not age anyway.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of
Cyril aged.
Yeah, but he's a child character.
Yeah.
But basically, that's what tipped him off about Flame, is that she never changed.
And that was like a question I always had. It's like, why didn't she age if she is the sister and whatnot? It's like if she's in that same age demographic as everyone else, yes, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, I had already known she was Sethleen like pretty early because like I think her Lindhart support just tells you it.
Yeah, her B rank support heavily implies she's Sethleen. She doesn't like. I never saw her angry A rank because she leaves you in Black Eagles if you pick Edelgard. So,
course,
but yeah, it seemed to make sense to me that she was either like a descendant of Sethleen or she was Sethleen. It just wasn't made clear.
There's a Claude paralogue in the Golden Deer route. I don't know if you get it. Probably not because you don't have Claude, but
I'm doing Golden Deer right now. I'll get to it later.
Right, you get a paralogue with you fight one of the dragons. One of a dragon, and if you fight him with Flame, she calls him uncle.
Okay.
He calls her Sithleen, so it's like, whoa, okay, confirmed.
Did not know that. That gets a little creepy fast. And like, ooh.
Yeah, so, and that uncle is Keyhole. Keyhole, you fight Keyhole.
His name's Keyhole?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Seteth was Keyhole.
Oh, no, not Keyhole. The other one. The one we don't meet. Indek.
Oh, Indek? Okay.
Is it Indek? Or is it another one?
I think it's Indek. There's Macuil as well.
Macuil. It's Macuil.
Macuil, okay.
It's Macuil. So you fight Macuil, and that's apparently Flynn's uncle and Seteth's brother.
I'm also kind of curious too, since we're on I guess we're going all these routes too. Those that slither in the dark. How much is that influence inside the other parts of the routes? Because when I got to it, it was the second to last map of the game, and it's like you kill off Edelgard, and Edelgard's like blah, 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 blah. And then Hubert, who's dead at the time, gives you a letter saying that, oh well, if you're reading this now, then I suck, or something like that. Yeah. And you need to know this information about those that slither in the dark, and like, who the hell? I mean, who's this? And then I realized he's talking about like Monica and the other guy, and like what? And then all of a sudden you go to this map, it's like futuristic retro. It just sounds nothing like the rest of the game, and it's like taken out of everything. And this is the old world tech is what it is, and it's supposed to like be futuristic. And I'm not sure if anyone else got the same exact thing who got into Slithers of the Dark, but it just felt weird. It felt like the only odd map out of the whole game.
It's exactly the same in the Golden Deer route, except after you fight those who slither in the dark, it releases the King of Liberation. Like they've brought him back to life, and he's the final boss of the game.
Oh,
you fight Nemesis,
Nemesis,
I never fought Nemesis.
Okay.
I fought a Dragon Rhea, so.
So in Church Route, the final boss is Rhea?
Yep, yeah. So the very final map that I get to play, because the second to final map was the futuristic map, and then after I do that, then you go back to Rhea and say that, okay, I'm weakening right now. I can't go back to the throne. I need to find a successor, and then that's where she blows up and being the Immaculate One, and mind you that the final boss is her, and you got to battle I think 4 or 5 different dragons, her and a bunch of other units, and it's a fun map. Don't get me wrong, but you kind of have to kill everyone else off before you get to her.
No.
Yeah, I feel the same way on the Black Eagles final map as well.
Like, you fight Rhea?
You fight Rhea on the final map, but on her flanks. So basically, there's only 2 routes really through. There's a main route like right through the center, but it splits off into east and west anyway. So on like the left side, you've got like I think it's supposed to be either Mercedes or Annette. Oh no, the Cyril. Cyril's on the left side as well. Then on the right side, you've got Gilbert and Katherine. And you basically have to go through all of them, right? Because if you don't, like if you try and fight Rhea before you defeat everybody, everyone just piles into the middle of the map and it just gets super chaotic. So you have to make sure you take care of everybody first.
I think more myself with the Blue Lions routes, how my final boss was pretty much just that hemorrhage big Edelgard in the wings and whatever darkness she was.
What?
Yeah, she can explain a little bit more.
Yeah, you have to explain that one because I've only seen pictures of Edelgard transformation. I want to know what the heck happened to it.
I'm trying to even remember. That's what I remember from it.
From what I can understand too, because I read, I had to read in all the routes and everything, but I didn't see him actively run through. But she was experimented on, she was experimented on, and then she's like some type of morphed being that's like, I'm going to destroy everything.
I mean, it looks fantastic though. I love the way she looks.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Again, it was implied in my playthrough that they wanted to use those that slid in the dark as kind of like a tool, and were desperate enough to go ahead and just do anything with them so that she can get her way of demolishing the church in any way.
Yeah, that was basically Edelgard's route. Is she uses those that slid in the dark to accomplish her goals, but she still doesn't like them. She wants to get rid of them basically, but they're means to an end for her.
It's like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of my friends about this. Missiles in the sky.
Oh yeah.
What the hell is that? That's the one thing that bugged me throughout the entire game. And I know it's old world tech and everything else like that, but those are legitimately missiles being launched from the sky. That's not magic. You can say they're magic missiles if you want to, but legitimately nukes from orbit or something like that, which begs the freaking question: how advanced was the civilization back then? That's all I got to say. I mean, I don't know how it is for the other routes, but when that started to happen, when you start launching, like, I'm going to pummel you guys with all these missiles and whatnot, and like, what's going on here? Is this Fire Emblem thing all a lie? Was there like, modern day Tokyo here in this exact same area in Fire Emblem or something? I don't know what's going on.
Could be.
But it was explained to me that I guess that it was the old world's technology that they were using. And again, that's the first time you really get to hear about it, and that's the last time you get to hear about it. And it's not really mentioned ever again.
No, it's not in Golden Deer Route anyway. You don't see a lot about it. The missiles. Definitely, they blows up the castle on the river. I can't remember what it's called. The Great Bridge of Murden. That's it. Okay. It blows that up, and you don't really find out. I mean, you get a notion that those who slither in the dark did it, but you don't really interact with the missiles or stop them or anything like that.
Yeah, it happens in Black Eagle's route as well, where after you take a town, basically, those who slither in the dark wanted to use the city's citizens for their experiments, but Edelgard just refused. And then, in retaliation, they just launched the missiles on the city instead.
Oh.
Just kind of funny that happens, but it's never touched about ever again. It's just assumed that you have to know, like, oh, okay, it's just old world tech. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of tell you that the slows who slither in the dark are the same sort of people who were around 1,000 years ago, so you can kind of infer from that they still have their technology. Just they live underground now.
I mean, technically, like, the year it takes place is like 1180 and whatnot. So it makes me wonder, it's like, could this have really happened and there's never documented?
Well, inside the Fire Emblem standards. Is what
I know, but I meant real life. Come on, I was going off on a very far whim there.
Okay, yes. Fire Emblem is real, Kat. Yeah.
They time travel. They got stuck in the past, and they put
tree
everything.
Is alive.
Yeah, so 1,200 years before this game started, there's actually like a nuclear war that wiped out everything on Earth, and the only ones left with the technology was those who slid in the dark.
Yeah,
we had to start from the beginning, so that's why it's 1180. But by the time this game comes around, we're back in medieval times.
Mess that one up, guys. Let's just have a clean year zero.
Well, don't worry. Our age is question mark is when we were born. Apparently,
I don't know why that was such a mystery. Although I guess
same with Gerald's. Yeah, Gerald.
I mean, it's totally not obvious if something's unique about you in the get-go. Especially with Sothis is like, embodying inside your body at that point, and then you get revealed like you were supposed to be a higher calling, but according to your father, you're like, no, I want to take my baby away from this church because you'll use my baby for evil things. And it turns out that in the whole cogwheel of this whole shenanigans, that it comes full circle anyway. And this is why I feel the church is evil. I'm sorry. I'm going on my little soapbox here and why the church is a little bit evil in this one. But there's something about the church that constructed you coming into being. First of all, your father saw the writing on the wall, says, no, I don't want you to be that. Runs away, builds a life as a mercenary, for some reason, 3 representatives from the 3 houses come out and say, "Oh yeah, you are here. Totally has nothing to do with the church. Brings you back to the monastery. Now you're a teacher." Rhea's like, "Excellent. Yes, I got him or her in my spot now. And then I'm gonna kill off your father," which happens. Your father is dead. Rhea is still alive at this point, and like it starts to spark out of control at this point. And I feel like the church set the whole thing up in a conspiracy theory here.
I mean,
set the whole thing up in motion.
Didn't Edelgard set the whole thing up?
Edelgard did, but I wanted to blame him on the church somehow.
It's not her fault. Rhea did nothing wrong.
Just the way you're describing that, Kyle, it just made me think of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Like, I don't know why that image.
It's all a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually loved the way the game played with Rhea's character, because in most RPGs, I'd say the church is evil, and obviously so. But I played the entire Golden Deer route, basically going, okay, but when does she go evil? When's the evil going to happen? And
you don't listen to her? Does she ever like kind of freak out about like kill all the non-believers or something like that?
Yeah, but she's right.
She's been like that the entire game, though.
Yeah,
but does that seem like it's evil to you? I don't know why.
She was right. They did deserve to die.
She just took it to another level of like, wow, that's crazy talk right there. You need to calm it down there, Rhea.
I definitely feel for her. I mean, her entire race was wiped out.
Yeah.
And I think she takes all that sort of things personally.
Never mess with a woman's scorn.
No,
scorched earth plan for her.
Typical woman, you kill her entire family and she gets pissy about it. Wow.
So the church route, because this big long cutscene of Rhea just explained the whole thing, because Setith is just like, you need to explain everything right now to them because things have sparked out of control. So she talks to you saying, "Oh, well, you are special. You were actually supposed to be the byproduct of I think she said she had 10 or 12 people she gave birth to, and out of all of them, the one that she was able to put Sothis' soul into was you." Because I think it was that your mother died either giving birth to... No, actually, I'm remembering exactly now. Your mother had the option that either you would die or your mother would die. And, of course, Rhea was like, well, we need to have the baby, and was able to convince, and I think your mom was like, okay, well, this baby needs to actually survive. So she kills herself. She takes the being, because I think Sothis is inside your mom, and then Rhea puts inside from your mom into you, and then you are now the being. And then Jared was like, "No, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to have this whole thing lived out on you." And it actually takes the baby away.
Oh, it's very timely, Gerald, doesn't he?
Yeah, but that's what happens, because you're supposed to be this immaculate being that Rhea manipulated to being into the next being, the next holy one, the next the Sothis coming to light, because she misses Sothis so much. I mean, that's what she is. Yeah. You can really see that inside her eyes of the whole thing. She's like, I really miss her.
Yeah, okay. So I understand more why you hate Rhea now, because I did not have that information, and that's kind of creepy.
No, and when I heard that, it's like, wow, you really paved out my life at this point, and I really hate you for it.
I mean,
you killed my mom. So
what? She basically just like kept having kids and then picking the strongest one, and then like eugenics wise, like
basically because I guess they weren't able to accept Sothis as a vessel inside of them. So and she kept putting Sothis' vessel inside of this person and that person, this one. She actually found the last one, which happens to be your mom, who happens to get pregnant at the time, which that wasn't supposed to happen, I guess.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
It wasn't supposed to happen. So instead, like I say, it's either she lives or the baby lives. And Rhea was like, well, you need to make your choice out. And of course, your mom, being the holistic person that she is, she's like, well, I want the Sothis to live inside my baby, and I'll just die.
And then I'll treat my baby like my mom.
It gets a little strange, I guess, but
it's so creepy and weird. I kind of love it.
Yeah, and that's why you get. I don't know if this is unique just to the church route, but you get the class change of the enlightened one.
Oh yeah, we all get
that. You get it? Okay, we did get all of it. Oh yeah, we did get all of it. That's before the time skip now.
Before the time skip, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I spot. just as much I didn't like the church route, I decided not to be that class. I was just the hero class the whole entire time. And of course, that class is the best class out of all of them. So I was like, all right, for the final 4 maps, I just switched classes because I'm so spiteful over it.
Class, yeah.
At least your route gives you information about Rhea, because for Blue Lions, it's like, honestly, she was not really ever there. It was never really explained. All up towards the end, it's like, oh, she was saved and she's done with the church.
Oh.
Yay.
That's it.
So it's not really emphasized to what Kyle just explained. So hearing all that just blew
It's
my
a heavy emphasis over it, which I guess wouldn't really surprise me, especially the church route. You get to know everything about the church. But even after her explaining all that, I still feel like there's still some secrets in there.
So in the Blue Lion route, is it more to deal with Fargus and Cornelia? Is that what takes up the more of the second half of the plot?
I think it just more. I said it's been a while since I finished it, so I'm trying to remember.
Just picture John Wick. That's all you have to do. Just picture John Wick trying to get.
I'm kind of curious, like how Blue Lion's food goes in the second.
Yeah,
half.
it's just like, oh my god, you killed my kingdom. Now I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, because I always hear online about how Dimitri has like the biggest transformation out of everyone in the game. So I kind of want to curious to know how the journey went.
Now, by the transformation, are you talking about just how he sees the world differently now, or
No, it's more of like he's like
wise,
yeah, it's more of like at the beginning of the route of the start of the route, he's just like, I want to kill everything, and then at the end of the route, apparently he's a sweetheart. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
that.
I know that Dedu was a super servant to Dimitri. He will do anything for him because in Dunskar, where Dedu was from, pretty much a lot of his village got destroyed and taken away from him. But Dimitri was able there to save him. So from that's why he's become the loyal servant. And then throughout the times as well, now I don't know if it's just my route, but this is a question I had. Did anyone else get Gilbert, or was that just me?
No,
I
Gilbert
saw Gilbert for a small moment because he gave me information and he left.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gilbert is Blue Lion specific, yeah.
Yeah, he's only playable on Blue Lions.
That's why I just want to make sure that was just something that I was seeing then. And then also I don't get Felix's dad. I get to hang out with him though. So how Felix had his tragedy with his brother 9 years ago, resents his dad for it. And I just feel like I like the bonds better, understanding where some of the kids had come from during the despair and destruction of it.
Yeah, Rodrigue, right? He dies in the Blue Lion route as well.
Yeah.
He takes like a lance or something. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember now. There's so in this is like a dual question. In Edelgard's route, do you get like to control the sort of Empire NPCs we fight during the story? Like
no, there's no new NPCs.
No
new
characters.
gets added. I think it's the same across all routes. It's all like
Wait.
Like,
So the people that go against the church that looks the new faces, you don't get to control them at all?
no, like you talk about like Ladislava, like the
Ladislava.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to control them.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
So I know
Thought you would.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised. I know in the Blue Lion route, one of the general guys, who I think has the funniest line in the game, where he says, "I'm gonna make my mark," and that's the only thing he says, and then you like kill him.
Oh my god!
Okay, it's that guy. His sister tries to get revenge on Dimitri for executing her brother.
Yes.
And Rodrigue jumps in and takes the knife or the lance or whatever it was for her.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And and that's what kind of makes Dimitri start to go back to being the nice boy that we all know. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But yeah, but if we go back to what talk about with Edelgard's route, you don't think you get anyone. You don't get anyone new because I don't know, because they're always off doing other things. Because in Edelgard's route, you're in charge of like doing all like the stuff in the back lines, like then while the Empire takes the stuff at the front. So the Empire kind of splits themselves into multiple groups. So there's the group that's holding off the kingdom, and then you first start off by taking out the alliance. So that's the first 2 missions. Then the next 2 missions are taking out the kingdom, and then the next 2 are the church. So it's kind of just a systematic like go through like, these missions, take out all of your enemies.
So is there like a justification that the students use to join in the Empire?
It's kind of weird, like because they kind of just arbitrarily join you because they're just like I rebelled against my father, or I don't like the way things were run in this way. So a couple of them were like didn't feel right, like Marianne and Mercedes, because they're so pious. I figured they would have left my party, but they're just like no, I just kind of believe in.
I felt like it.
Yeah. Some of the justifications just don't really make much sense. But I mean, I just took it because they're parties. Remember, my party I used a lot.
So what's funny about that is that, and this might segue into something else. When we all had our students that were trying to, let's just say swoon, to be on our side. Let's just use that term. One of the students I wanted was Hilda. So since I was doing at the moment, the Edelgard's route, Hilda hated me for all the good reasons. However, it was hilarious to know that once you go from Edelgard's route and go into the church route, within the same month, Hilda goes up to you and says, "Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm going to be in your class now." And like, out of all this time, you get up to like max out her, like at the time, like B rank or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, you're cool now. Let's be in the same team." Like,
yeah.
All right.
I think it's just a pre-time skip thing. There's always one character in every house that you cannot recruit.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Hubert.
Yeah, you can't get Hubert, Dedu, or Hilda from each of their respective houses.
Actually, you can get Hilda and Blue Lions for some reason. You
can
actually steal her.
I have her. She had no issue. Like, I just kept on having tea and giving her gifts, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll join." So yeah, she's on my team.
Yeah, I was stupidly trying to swoon her in some way, but someone told me, he's like, "You can't get her." I'm like, "Oh, why?"
Yeah. That's the weird part, because it doesn't seem like Hilda has any real attachment to Claude in any real way. Like, I'm playing Golden Deer now, and now it does seem like she does, but it didn't seem that way when I was playing Golden Deer, because she would never talk about Claude in any specific way, so it seemed like she had no real allegiance to him, so I was surprised that I couldn't get her.
I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, I guess of the three, like Dedu and Hubert each have like close ties with their respective lord, but Hilda, after the time skip, she does take over the management of the monastery and stuff like that. She is the one who issues your quests and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say she was necessary for the plot.
So I guess since we're on this conversation right now, what's everyone's favorite character here? Because I know what Catherine's going to say. But,
no, I don't. I'm torn.
You're really torn?
All right. Well, what's everyone's favorite character? So if you want to go around or something like that and say that.
Start, is it gender-based or overall?
Overall. I mean, your best females, your best males, and best dragons.
Here, we'll make it easy. How about we do like top 3?
Okay,
I like that better.
I got to really plan this out.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle brought it up, so he has to start.
What? Oh. Okay,
he
so
dealt it.
Okay, so the 3 characters, and I have to fight this one off in my head. I know one of them is Bernie, who I married. Yeah. I married Bernadetta. Then I have Petra and Caspar is my top 3.
Ooh,
the reason for those 3 is that Bernadetta, she's so cute. I don't know what it is. It's just she's got the shyness about her, but if you think about it, as you progress your support level with her, she becomes less and less and less worried about you and everything. And when you see what's that?
You have weird taste in girls.
I don't know. She was a shy one, and she was like whatever. And then it's like breaking her out of the shell. Although when you do marry her, though, she never breaks out of her shell. It's actually in the epilogue, so she's always by your side. And I played
that actually changes, because when I married Bernadetta, because of the story reasons. So at the end of Edelgard's route, you don't actually fight those who slither in the dark. It's just mentioned in the epilogue that that's what you did.
Oh.
So
wow.
when the epilogue comes up and it says me and Bernadetta, it says she spends so much time fighting those who slither in the dark, she ends up not being scared of anything now. So it's actually
mine was still scared. Wow. Okay. Whatever. Well, in the other means, Petra, on the other hand, I liked her because of her broken English. I'm always like playing the game in Japanese for some reason, but I purposely played it in English because I did it for Petra, because I wanted to hear her talk weird. I don't know what it was. It's just
her way of speaking is very endearing.
Yeah, it was sweet, and it was like, oh, that's adorable. And then Caspar is an utter beast of a person. I didn't think so at first, but he was my war master, and he was actually the one who took out The Enlightened one within 4 hits because I gave him the Dragon Claws, and he's you send him in, and he just kills anything he wants to. But there's something about Caspar. Just there was one of the support logs I'm trying to remember that I think is with either Linhart or Hubert that he calls him out for always yelling out his attacks and everything. He always screamed out his attacks, giving away his position. He's such a good character.
All right, so I guess I'll go. I have to say I really love Claude. I really do like Claude. I know he's the Lord character, and it's kind of a cliche to pick the Lord, but I absolutely love Claude. He's so charming, and his way that he teases Lysithea and his supports with her is hilarious. And you can just tell the voice actor had a lot of fun being Claude. So I really love Claude that way. Another character I'd love is definitely Raphael. He's just a big ball of sunshine, and he's super sweet, and he seems so one note at the very start. He seems like, oh, it's just the guy. His thing is that he eats a lot and trains a lot, and that is true. But it's the way this game's so clever in using these traits to help other characters grow, or how that other characters bounce off him. I mean, I always think of his support with Flane, where he tries to teach her how to psych herself up before a battle so she can deal more damage. And he said the best thing you can do is have a good battle cry.
Oh yeah, I remember that super conversation.
It's hilarious. So funny. It's so funny. And I get in my last character as Lysithea. She just has such a she's like one of those characters that has like a very clear, like, she isn't just a perfect character. She has her faults. She can be super quick to temper, and she can be super quick to judge people, but also she has her reasons for that you learn later. The fact that she's doing all this and she's dying, I really love her character.
Wait, she's dying?
Yeah, she was also experimented on by those who slither in the dark, which is why her hair is white, just like Edelgard.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't have her as a student, so
yeah, she has 2 crests stones. And she has, because of the experiments, just like Edelgard is also dying. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's, especially when you do recruit Lysithea for Edelgard's route, is the two of them have a nice bond together, because they have, they're both experimented on, they both have shortened lifespan, so it's really like, in Lysithea, actually if you don't recruit her on Black Eagles, if you defeat her with Byleth, you do have the opportunity to recruit her on post time skip, and she's really devoted to like Edelgard's cause, actually. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I ended up really liking Lysithea, like through her support conversations with Edelgard. It just made her seem like so much more of a human character.
She's a great character. Also, she's a beast. Oh my god!
Yeah. Okay, we all know the memes online about how she just one shots the Death Knight.
The Death Knight is nothing to her. Nothing. It's made of paper.
So even on the first fight, you do the Death Knight. I got Lysithea's reason up to B so I could get Dark Spice, and I just had a Gambit once, and then I killed the Death Knight with one hit with Lysithea. I'm pretty sure, like, if you ever do other routes, just recruit Lysithea, and it'll make your early game so much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's especially good on Golden Deer because you get Lawrence's relic weapon, which is +2 range to magic, and also gives you pavés, which is sometimes you take half damage. So it's just so good to stick it on Lysithea because they both have the Crest of Gloucester.
Yeah, so I'm doing that now with Golden Deer, and Lysithea is just like the perfect unit.
Yeah, she's just too powerful.
she's probably the most broken character in the game, just because her magic is just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
See, for me, my most broken character is Felix. Oh my gosh, I have never seen so many crits in my life. Any Fire Emblem game, I've never seen this many come from one boy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Felix is actually an insane unit too.
Yes, he is. Because with Felix on my route, I made him into a sword master, so we can have swords plus spells, and it's the best thing I could ever ask for.
One of our favorite characters.
Okay, fine. We will just go into mine now. Okay. So, no particular order. I can't do it.
Okay, so this is your order of most favorite.
Hard. Okay. So, now, as I mentioned, I love Felix because I got to also hear more of his backstory with how he lost his brother and all that. But my kids are more about how they fight. I will admit that. Their story's cool and whatnot, but how they fight is what I was after. So, Felix is top notch on that for me. Another favorite character, I adopted Ash. He is my son. I don't care. He is my son.
He's such a good boy.
I know. And making him into a sniper was probably one of the best moves I've made into the game. Because even though I could have done a different class, he was meant for that bow. So he's taken down enemies that I wasn't expecting, plus the distance I get out of it.
Did you see his supports with Ingrid?
Not that much, no.
I love how they like turned like fanboys and girls over like stories. It's adorable.
The heck over like old knights and stuff like that. It's so cute.
Because like some of the beginning supports, I read into it, but then as it got towards more game battle, I'm just like, whatever. I just want to keep going. Sure, they did stuff. Nice.
Oh, you must have like good support conversations. Some of these are really good.
Yeah, I'll
some
play
of them are fairly good. Yeah,
through another playthrough, I would go through that.
I think one of the things that I remember too with support. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. There was between Caspar and Bernadetta. Between Caspar and Bernadetta keeps kidnapping her and putting in her spots. Well, he doesn't kidnap. Let me get that right. But he gets so fed up with Bernadette being such a shut-in that he literally puts her over her shoulders and just takes her someplace.
He usually just likes to show her the sights, like a sunset or like the nice views. I love the first time when he did it. She thought she was gonna die. She just like makes a prayer to the goddess. it's just really cute.
But didn't you have another favorite character, sweetheart?
I can keep going. It's gonna go bits. But another one of my favorite characters was Sylvain. I know through my routes, you guys probably didn't have the same experience, but through one of the dungeons that we were crawling through, Sylvain's brother actually got possessed.
Oh yeah.
And from that, we had to kill him because Sylvain was born with a crest, and he thought, oh, girls just want to be with me for my crest and be famous and rich and whatever. But once his brother perished, his attitude slowly started to change. Like, no, I want to be with somebody for the right reasons, not just because they want to marry into it. So even when he grew older, his mentality from when he was a kid completely changed. So I just love the maturity he gained from it. And he can hit with an axe. Oh my gosh! He took out Lorenzo like nothing. He just like it was Lorenzo, right?
Lorenz.
Lorenz. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he took him out and it was so great. But overall, one more.
Okay, one more.
They can do one more. Yeah.
I was gonna get one more now.
I'm sorry.
Top four.
No. It's because I was torn. My honest personal favorite is Dedu. I adore Dedu to pieces.
Surprised you didn't say him over Sylvain.
Surprised you didn't say Dimitri.
I like the fact from Dedu, like how Leona mentioned about Raphael being like the gentle giant. Dedu is very similar to that as well. He loves to tend to the gardens, plus his loyalty to Dimitri. But he's an awesome brawler. Oh my gosh! You just give him those fisticuffs, he goes to town.
Yeah, and remember to do his paralogue before the time skip. Because if you don't, he will die.
I did it because he stayed with me. But
he was alive in mine because in the what was it, second or third last map, you get to see him.
Edelgard, yeah, he comes out. Yeah, that happens in the Golden Deer route as well.
Oh, okay.
If you're playing the Blue Lions, he doesn't live past the time skip.
Oh.
See, I just did the mission because it was there. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I didn't know that had a consequence if you didn't. Wow.
Because it's the people of Duskar who you save in that paralogue that save him in return when he's trying to free Dimitri from Fargus.
Yes.
Nice to know.
Yeah.
Nathan?
Mine? Okay. So mine are Bernadetta, Petra, and Dorothea.
Dorothea is a very close fourth for me. I'm like
she's just such a great character. I love her.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know who the voice actress is, but she got a really good singer for the voice actress that did it.
yeah,
Or at least she knows how to sing really well.
Mm-hmm.
like Dorothea is like I love her just because she just knows what she wants in life, and she's so determined and for her goals.
And that's
of, like
cute girls.
A go-getter.
Yeah, it's like
No man's gonna not hold her back, even if the men want her. She's like,
Yeah.
I don't need that. I'm good.
it's basically her, and she always like but I like the way she always teases all the girls too. It's just like I feel like her just canon is just she's into girls and over guys.
I mean, the
She can
lesbian
mean everything.
Like you just do like Ingrid's paralogue with her, when she just like teases Ingrid. She's like
Yes.
Ingrid gives her a ring. She's like, "Oh, is this a proposal?"
Oh, yeah.
Ingrid?
Yeah, it's very much that thing that actual real life gay people do, where it's like, I'm just joking, I don't love you. But if you said yes, then I would also say yes.
You know, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because at the prologue of everything, her and Petra get together.
To
To a sense,
happened too. Yeah.
to a sense, because they don't explicitly say they actually get together, but both of them is that Dorothea invites Petra into the country, wants to represent her, and they get really close to each other. Like she opens up like a clothing store, and Petra is just like training and everything. But I think it's implied that they get like be more than friends.
And in my epilogue, I got them together, and it says that Dorothea is the woman that Petra loves the most.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Huh.
So who did like Endgame? Who coupled up with who in your?
Oh,
Mine was, I think I did a couple of so Dorothea and Petra. I might have looked at my Switch. Do I have it close by? Hang on a second. I just gotta go through
I'll
this.
go through mine. I had
Mine was also Sylvain and Ingrid. That's another one.
okay.
Oh,
You can hear the game now. There
yeah,
it is.
again.
I know that mine was
Pulling up
Linhart
on
and
the podcast.
Caspar.
Oh, you
Leonard
really?
Caspar, nice. How does that end up going? Because
So apparently it's a kind of like I don't think they're together per se. If they were, it went over my head. But apparently Linhart and Caspar got together. They went on like quests overseas and everything else like that. They actually made this one book like 1,000 quest journey or something like that.
Okay.
And eventually they settled down. And they did do something. It's very fuzzy at what it is. All my mind says, "Oh my god, they got together," which was a really odd pairing.
I have Felix and Annette here, and that's probably one of my favorite pairings.
Felix and who?
Felix and Annette,
Oh, okay.
because I think early on Felix walks in on Annette singing, and that just becomes like their entire support conversation. And Annette's just too embarrassed to sing, but Felix is always just like telling her, "Hey, I like your voice, and I want you to sing for me."
She does not believe it. She thinks he's teasing her.
Yeah, but
He's like, no, I really like it. What's going on?
because Felix is just so like standoffish to everybody that Annette thinks that she's just messing with her, but he's actually kind of like genuinely like interested, likes her singing. So
Yeah.
Oh, I know what happens to Linhart and Caspar. They actually disappear together. No one hears from them ever again. That's what it is.
They're off being gay on the sea.
Yeah.
So cute.
Now, for me, even Kyle can admit to this. I have never married anybody. I can't decide. I have not done any of them.
She chose not to.
she chose not to. Oh,
Yeah.
That breaks my heart.
I'm sorry.
I'm leaving that. See, hey, not all spoilers. I have not decided who to marry yet, so
She'll go back. She's got a save file for it. She'll go back.
I just never did it.
She couldn't commit, even, which is funny, right, sweetheart?
I know.
Yeah. You're lucky, Kyle. You managed to get through that.
Good thing I wasn't like
Well,
a
if Kyle,
choice.
no, if Kyle saw, he might get jealous. That's why.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
totally.
yeah, he tells me all the time.
Uh,
But anyway,
in my playthrough, Byleth married Manuela.
Manuela.
Okay, I figured
Woo!
I like Manuela. I do. I don't know. I relate to the drunken, slovenly woman. What can I say?
Mrs. Krabappel.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, Mrs. Krabappel.
Krabappel.
And she was like so like grateful that I married her. It was
She
kind
was
of
thirsty. She was thirsty.
was definitely thirsty.
She was like, oh my god, I thought I'd never get married. I'm the happiest person alive. And I'm like, I did that for you. I'm a good person.
All for you,
You,
Lola.
you like the cougar in her. Just admit it. You like that cougar.
But my favorite couple that happened in my playthrough was Lysithea and Claude, and it's super cute because Claude takes her on his dragon, and they try to find a cure for her illness, and they find it.
Oh, thank God!
Yay!
Thank God!
Yeah. I know because there's about I think half of the conversations where they don't find a cure and she dies young.
Yeah. You know, like in Lawrence's one, she is like the force of most of his policies, but she never leaves because she's so sickly. But I'm so happy in the Claude one she lives.
Yeah, now I'm like devoted to finding the ones that she does live and trying to pair them up together because I can't bear the thought of her just living this short life.
I couldn't bear the thought. She's too precious.
Does anyone know what happens if you try to marry Sothith?
No,
that's
I
an
haven't
option.
tried it.
I don't think she's an option because she's dead.
No, she's an option.
No, she's an option.
Is she? How does that work?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I never really looked into it, but
I think it's a new game. I think it's a new game plus thing.
Yourself.
Sorry, would you say, Nathan?
I think it's a new game plus thing because I think so anyway. Because at least I know for sure in Black Eagles you can't get her back because you kill her basically in the epilogue.
Is it like at the wedding? Like, I take me to be my lawfully wedded bride. I also take me to be my lawfully wedded husband. You put 2 different rings on your 2 hands.
Yeah,
he's gone crazy.
Yeah, because
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, because it probably doesn't happen in Black Eagles just because maybe you could test this, Kyle, because you played Church Root, but she Rhea implants a crest on your heart or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when you do Black Eagles and you kill Rhea, the crest disappears and it revives you after it disappears.
Yeah, it doesn't happen with me because again, it never really explains aside from when Sothis becomes one with you officially and your hair just goes to a different shade of green. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really, aside from, I guess, touching up what happened to Sothis, what's the ultimate fate of Sothis in the church route. You just, when she combines with you, that's it. It's done. That's the last time we hear about it. Otherwise, we just hear other stuff about Rhea and whatnot. So whatever you got on that route was a hell of a lot more than I've seen.
Okay, because on Black Eagles, you basically, when you lose the crest basically you die killing Rhea, but then the crest revives you, and then the crest disappears, and you also lose your powers. So I'm assuming that means Sothis is also dead.
Yeah, it did not happen on my side.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we've been talking about how we love. Can we at least say one that we don't love?
Yeah,
characters.
We
Yeah,
all
we can talk
have.
about. I think I already mentioned one.
At least one or more.
I hate Alois.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
I hate puns, and he's nothing but puns.
You don't hate dad joke man?
I hate him. I have never used him. He's still the same level I got him.
Mine's probably gonna be the same way. I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only character I actively dislike.
Wow.
Don't hate me at all because I know you touched about this, but I hated Rhea. I hated her.
That's okay.
Understandable after your.
It confirmed my hate by the time I ended church route because it's I had a good reason hating you. Now I'm glad you're dead. So I'm sorry. It sounds really bad, but I had she was so crazy. She was oh my God, this woman. If I met this woman in real life, I just crazy church lady. Gotta go. God, I can't be around this woman.
For one of mine, I think it was ever since when you do the dance and you get that one cutscene with whoever's there and whatnot. And for some reason, I never bonded or I don't really care for Annette. I do not care for her at all.
Oh, you're breaking my heart.
For me, once I got more magic users like Dorothea and, how do you say her name again? The one that everyone else likes.
Lysithea?
Yes, thank you. Once I got them, it's you're gone.
Yeah,
I don't need you anymore.
That's not the best unit. I'll admit that.
I mean, fair.
And the thing when I was mentioning about the dance, it's I was more smitten with Dorothea and all the other girls, and I got her. I was
Aw.
so sad. I did not want to be
Aw.
best friends with her. I did not want to, and it made me.
You know you
Huh.
can pick who you dance with if you talk to nothing to report guy.
The gatekeeper, the best character in the game.
Gatekeeper?
Yeah.
Oh
if you
yeah,
talk
that
to
was a
him-
thing, wasn't it? You were trying to swing
Yeah.
the gatekeeper.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wait, I'm adding him to my list of favorite characters. Gatekeeper.
don't
Nothing
start
to
that meme up
report.
again. That was a thing, and everyone tried to.
No, it's
rule
still a
the
thing. What are you
gatekeeper.
talking about? Everyone wants the gatekeeper.
But yeah, Annette I just never bonded with, so I just could care less for her.
She's such a cinnamon roll, though. I love her.
Nope.
Yeah. She is.
Who was not your cinnamon roll?
He's not my cinnamon roll. Cyril. I hated that kid. He's just like I love Rhea, and that's about it.
I'm sorry.
like I don't know. Like I'm trying
around
to.
the house.
I'm sorry.
Like, I'd love a Cyril around the house. Just like he does so much cleaning. I just like appreciate that.
You just have that Cyril. No, because whenever I'm trying to do support conversations now, and it still feels like I don't like. I don't know. I just can't connect to Cyril in any kind of real way.
You're weird altogether.
Yeah, and then like obviously, and on Black Eagles, I didn't get him because he doesn't join you on Black Eagles. So I actually think Black Eagles, Elgard's route, I think you get the least amount of characters in the game because like half the church units don't join you.
Yeah.
Like you don't get Katherine.
Oh no, I
Cyril.
get all the church units, and I used only Sedith and Eloise, which he's a good fortress knight. I'll give you that. He's actually with me in the final map, so I know you don't like him, but he's funny. I'm sorry, he was.
It's not funny.
It's my humor, I guess. I don't know, but he was just kind of like, oh, he's trying, like,
Like the only adult I used was Gilbert. Other than that, I used absolutely no adults. It was all kids for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm
I
really-
barely used any of the church units, like myself. I think I mostly stuck to using the students. I think the only one I was using was pre-time skip was Flane, but she leaves you after the route anyway, so or after time skip
Flane's-
anyway.
I
So.
like Flane a lot, to be honest. And she's like
Oh.
one of the only two characters to get fortified. So
she
That's
gets
awesome.
sassy towards the latter halves of the
okay,
game.
I need to see that because you have a very like mine. She was total sweetheart for the entire thing.
Well, her conversations were not sassy, but when I'm using her in battle, I can't keep forgetting the name. The master class where you can use both white and black magic.
Oh,
Gregory?
Gregory.
Yeah, I turned her into that out of whatever thing I did, and she's so sassy when she beats people, and it's like where's this coming from? I like this version of you.
I have the taste for blood.
Now, Leona, you mentioned that that she was one of the few that used Fortify Flan, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
I thought that was a white mage thing because my
It is, yeah.
Mercedes, she knew it no problem, and I was like, okay, cool.
Uh-huh.
Oh, like different characters will learn different spells, so it's
Yeah.
so some characters will learn Fortify, some won't. It just depends.
Interesting, because
Mercedes and Flane are the only two who learn Fortify.
Mercedes is my best girl. I love
yeah.
Mercedes.
Mercedes, in my opinion, is the best healer in the game.
Oh, definitely. She's one of the best healers, and like, if not the best. But I just find her support's a bit bland sometimes.
You gotta watch the one with her and Ferdinand, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
that's a great
sure,
one.
but I'm
It's a
not
bit-
sure if I killed her or not.
Aw.
I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't. I just never used Mercedes.
Just say you didn't.
I
There you
didn't.
go.
Okay, I didn't kill her. I don't remember killing her anyway.
I don't think so because I don't think Church of Vault sells with blue lions unless you fight them at some point.
Okay, so she didn't die.
I don't think so. But
I'm sure a lot of us got pleasure killing some kids. I'm sure we got some.
I didn't, because I recruited
Lawrence,
everybody.
I could care less about. Just like, oh, you're dead.
I actually kind of like Lorenz actually. Like after doing his support conversations, it's actually kind of a nice guy. He just does, like he means well, but he's just like I'm a
Snooty
noble.
McSinderson.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I think one of my pleasures of killing a kid was Ferdinand. I was so happy.
Take
to
out
get
of
rid of-
context so much.
No,
We're talking about
no.
kids here. Oh my God.
You know what? Both Ferdinand and Lorenz seem like
No,
completely like.
It was more because of the hair. I hated that haircut.
You didn't
Wow.
like his long hair?
The Fabio look, no, that was horrible looking. So I had good pleasure.
There was a mixture of haircuts post and pre-time skips that were just, what were you thinking?
You know what?
I think-
Mary Ann's haircut didn't really change, and I was severely disappointed.
But she had a
in
glow
that
up,
one.
which is fine.
Yeah.
She lost the bags under her eyes, and I was like that.
Yeah, I like to think that I picked the house of the bad haircuts. I had Ignatz and Lawrence in my party.
Oh god, like Lawrence's pre-time skip haircut is so bad.
Yes, but to be fair, they both vastly improved post-time skip. Lawrence
In looks,
yeah,
I'll have to debate you on Ignatz's looks, but
I don't know. Post-time skip, he's a hottie.
I don't know.
I think my favorite transformation, because when I was playing playing an early game with Felix, it's like, man, if he would let his hair down, I swear he could go up on my list. 5 years later, I was smitten.
You can go up on my list.
She already has an official list. She tells me every day.
There's one thing I want to bring back to, and the way we were talking about earlier with some of the students that we like to kill. But for me, it was like one of the moments. I guess it's a different moment for me in a game where you're fighting Seteth and Flane on one of the maps, and if you kill Flane with anyone other than Byleth, she dies, right? And Seteth just loses it. And I actually reset the map because I was like, I can't go through that again. Seteth, when he reacts to Flane's death, is just like,
gosh.
That's a great
I
piece
honestly
of voice
think
acting right there.
that's what makes this game so different than the other Fire Emblems. It's just that the attachment you get to your kids. So, like, we talk about like our good kids, our bad kids, kids we don't like, kids we want to kill, apparently. But I think what's really cool about this game is that you set up these support conversations. They took the support conversation, did like an Awakening and Fates and everything. But I think they took it a step further, that you actually feel for your kids. You want to have that moment of like, oh, they're so good with each other, and I want to marry this person. I want these people to be together. I don't want to kill this person. Like, I bet there's some people out there that they'll go against, like Ash, for example, and it's like they'll purposely run away from this. Says, you're gonna live in my story. Like, I don't want to kill you, even though they're trying to kill you. But I think it's the betrayal of whatever happens in your route, and you have to go against a kid that, you know, that was in your students, or you did want to swoon over, you did something, and it just triggers something in you that, like, I don't want to kill you, but I have to, or something.
Mm-hmm. They're so sweet. I really do love all my children, which is why I picked Alois, because he's not a child.
An adult child.
I'm allowed to hate him.
I think one of the concepts of the game I really appreciate is you can make your student whatever you want. You want this one to be a Lancer to start off with, by all means, and you make your team. I've never had a Fire Emblem like that. Plus, I do love the fact you don't have to buy spells. Spells get replenished. I favor that so much.
That's a nice change for Magic, and it's still like they experimented it with Echoes, where Magic every time you use it would cost HP, but there's also no limit besides your HP. So, but this is a vast improvement. I want to see them continue with Magic like this way.
I really enjoyed the at least Magic, which made the Magic caster kind of like the god class of all things. And I still feel that Magic is broken in this game, because
Magic's really good.
Yeah, it's just, you can just have everyone with Magic, and as long as they have another weapon, you can just mow down everybody you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they tried to compensate with like bad growths on the Magic classes, but it wasn't enough. Magic's still there.
Yeah, it didn't work on the Scythia. She's still broken.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite units in this game ended up being archers, just because of their massive range and the fact that they get close counter at like rank D.
Oh yeah,
I think
so
it's
early
really
in the game
early.
close counter.
It's really early, so I just like liberally used archers in my playthrough just to basically cheese a lot of like some of the maps, especially because you can get like Deadeye and like Curve Shot, and you just increase your range even more. Then when you get Bow Knights, that's just broken.
It's ridiculous. It's nice that archers finally got their time to shine, because in all previous Fire Emblems have always been a bit of a joke.
Yeah, like archers in like pretty much every other game is just like, why would I ever use you? There's
Yeah,
like maybe like 3 good archers in Fire Emblem history.
Yeah, it's like you're a bad Magic user. It's like
archers are very surprising in terms of how good they are in this game. Like I tell you, like I keep talking about Bernie, but she was like my top archer. She was the Bow Knight, and I'm surprised on how deadly the damn archers are. You just send one of the archers in, she's like, oh, dead. Everyone's dead. Everyone's dying because of one archer.
Bernie carried for me.
of all this talk, it's taking me back to my Path of Radiance days, and for some reason, Three Houses changed my love for axe welders because Boyd was the most horrible axe person I've ever had in a Fire Emblem game. He could never hit, he could never crit, he was horrible.
And he was the only axe user, like he's the only fighter.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know if it's just bad RNG of whenever I've played with Boyd, I did not like it. But having Sylvain become my warrior mainly refreshed my love for axe users now.
Can we talk about Hilda if we're talking about axe users and how broken she is?
Oh, God.
Ridiculous. I love her.
Oh, she's scary. She's scary. Give her an axe.
With an axe.
I think everyone with an axe inside this game was scary.
Yeah, like Edelgard's also super scary.
Annette has an axe, and it's a magic axe.
Oh
yeah, apparently in Blue Lion's route you can get. I think it's only a Blue Lion's route, or can you get it in other routes too? Because I never got Annette's parallel.
I got a crest axe from. Actually, it was a paralog. It was from. Was it from Hilda? I forget what it was. But it was a crest axe. You guys didn't get crest axe?
Hilda gets a crest axe for herself, but
Hilda gets one and Annette gets one. And I think it's only Blue Lions because Gilbert is on the map.
Okay, so it is Blue Lion specific. Okay, I remember I never got Annette's paralog, so I was wondering about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard that magic axe is really good.
How'd you guys like the whole exploring stuff?
What, the monastery?
The monastery?
Yeah. I liked it, but you couldn't pet the cats.
Until
DLC. Now we're getting DLC. We'll let you do it.
Yeah. They realized the error of their ways.
I guess I kind of liked it, but in a way, I found it more satisfying when it was, or satisfying, sorry, bad grammar. I found it satisfying when you were teaching your kids, but something about the monastery, it felt like you should just do it once a month and not multiple times. Once and done is all you need, but I've always taken like 30, 40 minutes every single time I explored the monastery. So I liked it, but I didn't like it, but I kind of like, it's like a love-hate relationship with me, but I definitely think it was different.
For me, like I used explore at least twice a month just because I can refresh motivation. I just stuff food down my students' mouths. Like, here you go. Now you're motivated again. So I can teach you.
This is my favorite. You said that about the last
more food.
But I kind of wish there was more to do, and I'm glad that the DLC will be adding more stuff to do.
Because, like that sauna.
Yeah, the sauna. Yeah, that's there the entire game. It just has a warp point, but you can't actually use the sauna.
Yeah. It just says there's a sauna up there, and in the back of my head it's like, oh god, I know everyone's.
I don't know why I just thought about it. I just mentioned the sauna, and how he said you can't gain access to it. I was thinking maybe the MC can have a peephole. And
no.
Where'd that train of thought come from?
I don't want to be the therapy teacher.
If I can't get in, I'll still see.
Yeah, but in a way, all schools have a peephole. So I'm like thinking, if you play as a guy, you have a peephole to the girls' room. If you play as a girl, you maybe have a peephole to the guys' room.
But maybe that's what the T camera thing is meant for, is to get you familiar with the camera.
The T thing was a bashful, like, let's take pictures of our favorite person, especially Manuela of all people.
I did.
I love it how the camera.
Of my students.
One of the default cameras is the chest camera, by the way.
Please don't speak badly of my wife.
I'm sorry, but my God.
Come on, we all know that we just the tea parties for the stats anyway, right?
But honestly, after the tea parties were super enjoyable for me because once you got to know your students, you knew what to select to get always the perfect tea times.
I never knew.
I never knew. Sometimes I don't know what to say. There's some students where I'm like, I don't know.
Thing, like I never knew.
Apparently, it's supposed to be a reaction to what they said that they would like.
Well, no, they from what I've read up on and from what it is that if you pay attention to what they like as gifts and what their likes and dislikes are, the three choices you actually get matches up to what their dislikes and likes are. It's that last question is what gets me all the time.
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the opinion.
Yeah, apparently you're supposed to read their tone of voice and then pick it based on that. Apparently that's the way it's
There's so many ways you could, like, one of them's nod. Am I agreeing or am I like nodding sympathetic?
Yeah.
Am I like, oh, you're boring me, or am I like, oh, that's awful? You know?
The last one's always weird. I always mess it up. I guess maybe like 1 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Now, one of the small things, I did love how your dessert tray grew over the
Oh.
time.
Yeah, the post upgrade, post time skip cakes were much better than the pre time skip.
I mean, I saw cheesecake as I got older. It's like, wow, we've advanced.
I think
even though we're in the middle of a war.
We've got
have some
refined
cheese
tastes
and
now.
other stuff here. Here's some cookies. I think the seminar, and especially rest, is what I used the least.
Rest I never used.
Felt like rest is just like a waste of time. I know it
is.
replenishes your sword, but I never used the sword until like the final 2 maps. But like rest is a waste of time, and the seminars were only good if you were trying to push a certain group of people towards a certain skill.
Yeah.
Otherwise, those are the least 2, especially the rest, that I've ever ever not used. Whatever.
I mean, seminars are better in post time skip when students can you have such a huge range of seminar options in post time skip because all your students will now teach seminars instead of just the professors. So in that way, it's like you could gear people towards what they want in post time skip, but sometimes at that point it just kind of feels irrelevant because they're already at.
You're so used to skipping it.
Yeah, and in Black Eagles it's just almost useless because you only get 6 chapters post time skip. So it's like, why waste your time doing seminars? Because you're basically at the end game right now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the rest option I never used because like you could just repair your sword with Umbral Steel, and it wasn't that hard to find if you're like me and you were getting rid of all the force fields around the monsters.
Yeah,
you got a lot of Umbral Steel.
Yeah, you got a lot of doing that. I remember for some monsters it's hard to break all of their stuff because as soon as they do one attack, they charge up their special. Yeah. Then once you use their special, then it replenishes all their shields. So you gotta make sure you have to spend a lot of time getting the setup ready to kill all the barriers.
Yeah, I'm actually so annoyed. I feel like I got so much Umbral Steel, which repairs my Super Saiyan weapon, but I got 0 Venom Stones that give me the rubbish poison items. What's going on?
Yeah, I was the same way because I remember when I was forging weapons and I was like, there's supposed to be a Venom weapon somewhere in here. And by the time you get one, you can only make one by that point.
And it's useless.
Yeah, totally useless.
You kill the enemy long before poison takes its effect.
Well, isn't this also the first Fire Emblem game that they got rid of the triangles? The weapon triangle?
No, Echoes also didn't have it.
Oh, I didn't realize Echo didn't have it too.
The original game didn't have it. The same with Gaiden didn't have it. It's I can't remember when they introduced it.
It didn't have a triangle because there was 5 different weapon types. It was Shuriken, Beats, Fist. I don't remember. I try not to remember Fates too much, to be honest.
No one does.
Yeah, Fates was a bit odd with all of its different ones.
Yeah.
Now, has any of us played Beyond Hard Mode?
Like maddening mode?
Yes.
I haven't tried maddening mode yet.
Okay.
It's I hear it's like lunatic mode. That's from what I hear.
Basically, yeah. But I think the scariest part, I think a lot of people have basically cheesed it by basically making Byleth super powerful. I think that's the way to go because at least you guaranteed to use Byleth in every single map.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem fun to me. It's not where I like my challenge to come from, and it's just not. I would rather they rejigger the maps to have more objectives or lower time limits or something like that.
And that's one thing I can say about the game. I felt some of the maps were reused. A lot of other Fire Emblem games had a better diversity, or at least every chapter was something different. But some of the prologues were the same maps, just the enemies were different. Had different weapons instead. So I thought that was a little lackluster.
Yeah, there's a lot of maps that they reused. Granted, I've mentioned it. I didn't mention it in my review because I came off of Echoes where that game reused maps so often and they had no variety whatsoever that I completely forgot to mention it in my review. But yeah, they do repeat a lot of maps in this one, and I wish they had a little more map variety.
Yeah, Awakening had a lot of maps, but they didn't reuse it. But I'm thinking Path of Radiance only had. If you think your traditional Fire Emblem games, they only have 30 maps at most. Well, this had 30 maps plus all the paralogs and stuff. So it was. Yeah, there was definitely some unique maps in the paralogs. It wasn't all reused.
Yeah, because compared to Path of Radiance, I don't think any of the maps were ever the same. Every chapter was a completely different map.
But it's also that was
Yeah.
just if you followed the main story in this game and never did the paralogs in Three Houses, you would also never repeat a map route.
Yeah. Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
For some of the Blue Lines and Gold Gear, you guys had Gronder Field twice. But I
That
mean
doesn't
that
count.
that
That
fight
doesn't
in
count.
general, it was like that the battle for Gronder Field, like that you have both the mock battle and for
Yeah,
Gold,
but
and
that
then the one you
had to
have,
be that specific map, so I give that a pass. Like that had meaning when they fought
yeah,
there.
yeah, it did. Yes, I love the symbolism behind that map too. It's just
Yeah,
like especially when you do and you had like you didn't recruit anybody to students and you had to kill everybody on that map basically.
yeah, it was so sad.
No.
I'm so sad, you guys.
Bringing up bad memories there.
Yeah.
They start a new game and they're back.
Yeah. Oh, I have to kill them again.
Oh my god, everyone's alive.
Ah.
But yeah, just the music that plays during Gronder Field as well, that really got me. It's just that, it's that feeling of like, it's the sadness and also like it's epic tone as well. But it's like, it's such a good piece of music.
I think that's just some of the good moments there. Is that the music is actually what impressed me a lot with Fire Emblem. It's just that, and I think it was the same music, but it was two different tones. There was the quiet and the storm or something like that, or thunder.
Yeah, it's like rain and thunder tones. Yeah.
Yeah, and it only increases when you get into the fight, when you get into the battle. And I thought it was a really smart choice to have the same score keep going, except it's two different when you're observing versus inside the battle.
Yeah.
I think they've done that since Awakening, because I think Awakening was the first one to do that.
I didn't notice that. I think this is the first game I actually noticed it. Then again, this is also the first game that wasn't handheld, aside from Path of Radiance. So,
Well, it's either that or maybe it was Fates. I know one other Awakening or Fates had it first. But I think I don't think Echoes had it actually. I think Echoes was the same. I don't think they had like a rain/thunder version. But
I'm just hoping for future installments of Fire Emblem, it continues on this route where you make your characters what they can be. I really hope they continue it because I love the diversity you can make.
Yeah, there's a lot of gameplay changes that they made here that I want them to keep moving forward. I just hope that it's going to be so hard to go back now.
Honestly, I just want them to go with the same level of writing. To be honest,
same.
That's what really made me enjoy this game. They cared about the story they were writing. They cared about the backstory and the way that all the characters interacted and their histories were interwoven with each other. Super interesting, super well done. Something that Fates lacked entirely.
failed.
It
Failed at
failed
it.
at it. But I don't mind if they want to go back to like a class system because I'm a Fire Emblem fan. I've always liked the way that Fire Emblem did things, but I also appreciate what they've done here. As long as they go forward with the writing, I think I'll just be happy.
I really did like the writing as well because I was really shocked to have every single support voiced, but they were good. It was good writing.
Amazing.
It was fantastic. Character building for everybody, and like we've all said, we have our own favorite characters and bad characters, everything. But that's because we read into those characters. It's not just a physical thing. It wasn't just how they fought, except for some people. But it was just you get that emotional attachment. And that's what I was saying before is that this felt like the first Fire Emblem where I actually cared about somebody. I cared about them. I wanted them to be with my team forever. And that's what kind of happened to me when I failed at doing Edelgard's route. And I felt betrayed in a sense, like, now I have to kill you. You don't understand now, Edelgard. I have to kill you and everyone that you know.
And I liked you.
Yeah.
You were the chosen one.
You're supposed to lead us.
We'll talk more about this is one thing I want to I want them to keep going forward with the writing in this game, like keep that same level of making me care so much about these characters. That's for me. That's what makes the Fire Emblem such a great thing. It's not always about the gameplay or necessarily, but for me, I want to fall in love with Fire Emblem characters. That's my main
because it feels more than just an SRPG at that point. It feels like you're actually getting a story. You're getting more of a deeper premise that the game is offering.
Yeah. I want to make sure these characters have multiple dimensions. They're not Fates where it's I'm this one thing and that's basically all I am. But the characters need to have a lot more depth to them. There's only a couple of characters, or maybe a little bit more than a couple. There's a few characters in this game that don't have a ton of depth, but I still like them anyway. But
yeah, so like even Raphael, as I was saying, he can be one note. Like that could have been a character that could have been one note, but they didn't. It was like even the most one note character in Three Houses is infinitely better than Fate's.
Yeah. Like
infinitely better.
For me, that was with Annette, because I'd like Annette's like she's not like she's a model student and she's not much more than that. But I just love her anyway, so it's like
exactly.
Yeah,
I found myself when it comes to characters like infusing their personality and what class they would play as, and I always felt like despite that the game gears you towards like Dorothea, you know that she's going to be like, oh, she's going to be your dancer, she's going to be your magic caster, and okay, I accepted that. But for other people, like oh god, who was the oddball one that I chose not to? It was one of them. But like it's like I felt like no, you're not that person. You're not going to be. No, it's Flan. Flan actually. She was supposed to be like your magic caster, your white mage.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to do that. It's like I wanted you to have a spear. Like wait a minute, and then like I want you to cast black magic, and she got so sassy and like, yeah, this is the role you need to be in, Flan.
I still remember one of my difficult students of who I wanted them to be was Ingrid. I could not decide. There were so many. I tried to have her working with spears. I didn't like that. I had her try working with the flying. I didn't like that. Eventually, I had her as a sword master, and I just found like that was her niche for my play.
Yeah,
but for others, it could be something else.
For me, it was 100% Pegasus Knight.
Yeah.
She's the only natural one in the game, I feel.
Yeah, she's the only canon one that it feels like. Yeah. Which is weird, because you usually get a fair few Pegasus Knights in the Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it's because
they go down with arrows, like, dead.
Well, no one wanted to Pegasus Knight because you see like an archer come around, it's like, oh no.
For me, it didn't matter because
Pegasus Knight.
For me, it didn't matter.
In this game have like 5 range.
Yeah. But Ingrid was such a beast for me. She actually carried me through the last.
Yeah.
She was my MVP in the final 3 maps for me, just because she would dodge everything. And in the Blue Lions map I had to play, there's this huge map. It's just like attacking the city. That's full of spikes, and there's contraptions you have to turn off like in the middle of the city in order to get rid of the spikes. So I just sent Ingrid in solo, and she just grabbed all the contraptions and dodged every single attack.
I'm so glad you're not the only person to think that too, because my friend was talking about that as well. He said the same thing. It's like, I know the same thing. There's something with Ingrid that you put her with a lance or a sword or something like that, and she takes care of business. You put her someplace, I want you to go there, everything's gone.
She goes to town.
Yeah.
I mean, her base speed is insane. Like, her character speed.
Yeah.
If you put her as a sword master, it goes nuts. I can imagine her dodging everything. Same with Pegasus Knight.
I feel in a way too we're now spoiled with this having the students and others become what you want them, that I'm afraid that if Fire Emblem brings out a new game but it goes back to the way it was, I wonder what feels we would have.
I really doubt that it'll go back to the way it was at this point, because I think I'm not going to say they struck gold with this, but I think it's a good change. Your characters don't stop leveling after 40. Your characters can be whatever the hell they want. You have a good choice of selecting of students, of what students you want to, and you have multiple paths. My one pet peeve with this game, and this is just me personally, I'm not a game designer anyway, but maybe if they had it so that the story was one big story instead of branching paths. I know that gives it more depth and more replayability, but if it has like one singular story, maybe put like paralogs of what happened to Dimitri. Because for the church route, I really wondered about Dimitri. I really did. And like I only saw him as like, I guess a ghost is what I can only explain it as, because he visited me at night, and then Seth comes around and says, "Who are you talking to?" And you turn around, it's like he's not there. Like, what the hell happened? I didn't want to believe he got killed, but it's like
it's your interpretation. Yeah. I mean, I liked how they have all these different routes you can go through. I like it because it has a replay value.
Yeah. I'm for the multiple routes. Like, it's basically what Fate should have been.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't mind if they don't use this system again. I did like it a lot. I'm just like, I like it if they're always trying to like do something different, because I feel like with Persona, they feel like they struck gold, and now I feel like they're like doing the same thing over and over again, and it's a bit tiresome. I'd love for them to change up their formula a bit. And I don't want Fire Emblem to suffer that sort of rut where like, oh, we did really well with this particular thing, let's only do this.
I think that you've kind of felt that way, I guess, after Awakening and Fates too, because you know they struck gold with Awakening, but they're like, we don't know how we struck gold, so we just double down
so
on
then
these
they made
themes.
Fates, and then like point proven.
Like I
Like,
get
well, we gotta change something up, obviously.
yeah, I just get the feeling that they're probably gonna do like they'll probably keep the same system, but I also want them to make remakes. Like specifically now, I think they should do Genealogy of the Holy War as a remake.
Oh yeah.
And then have the same system, like generally the same system for this, and then maybe they make a new game as well, but like this. But I just want
an expanded Genealogy of the Holy War sort of thing.
yeah, like I just want to play that game. I heard it's really good, and following on the heels of this, yeah, I want to see it.
I was just thinking to myself in my head, I know it will never happen, but just like how the new Pokemon game coming out, when it does, is going to have not all the Pokemon. Imagine a Fire Emblem game with all the characters ever.
We have that. We have that.
Fire Emblem
it's Heroes. Fire Emblem Heroes. We have that.
Heroes, yeah.
We have that game.
Which it was like, let's ride off the coattails of a successful Hyrule Warriors, but no, it didn't work.
But you have to play like Fire Emblem. It can't be like Hyrule Warriors. Not like that.
There's a Fire Emblem game.
For Fire Emblem Warriors was. Are we talking about Fire Emblem Warriors here? I thought we were talking about Fire Emblem Heroes.
Heroes.
Wait, hold on. Oh no, I'm sorry. Warriors are the one that copied off of Hyrule Warriors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But then
not Heroes, the mobile phone game. Not that.
But I'm saying that for Heroes has all the characters in it. That's the crossover game.
And it's Fire Emblem.
But I think she's saying like in
like
a
a story.
Yeah, like a super
story.
Kind of like a Super Robot Wars-esque story for Fire Emblem. Like all the Fire Emblem characters come out.
Heroes does not have Boyd. I need Boyd so I can just hate him. He needs to be in there. I'm waiting for that day Boyd gets added.
She plays Heroes every day, so she knows this.
Oh, okay. Does it have Tanya?
At this rate, though, yeah, it has Titania, yeah.
Oh, good. I love that.
The problem is, as soon as they add Boyd, he'll be superly powerful at this point in Heroes, and it won't be true to what Boyd is.
They'll make him a legendary hero for some reason.
It's kind of like how Yamcha was in the Dragon Ball Fighters. It's like he's ridiculously powerful for some reason, so...
I was thinking about it. Do we have any like super memorable moments that we want to talk about? I think we've talked about a few of them, but is there anything else that you guys can think of off the top of your head?
Mine. I was honestly through the time skip. Dimitri mentioned that Dedu died. He said he died 5 years ago. Blah blah blah. But something told me in my heart, woman's intuition, he is not dead. So I think it was March, February, March, and we're doing
you mean
this.
The Wyvern Moon.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't remember all those dates, but we have to call February, March, and April here.
Sorry, 2 or 3, between 2 and 3, whatever that is. He comes out from the first turn when you're done. I honestly wanted to cry, just like a tear.
Yeah.
It's like, I knew you were alive. I just wanted you back. So that was my moment of Dedu coming back, and I was just so happy.
Oh, that's so sweet. I think honestly my favorite may have been just after the time skip where your characters are all coming back and you see how they just grew up. You see what they look like now, and it made me feel like a proud parent just to see. I'm like, oh, what did you do? Your hair. You had such lovely hair.
I felt the exact same way because when I saw like Petra, for example. When Petra came out, like Petra was very conservative in her own way and everything. Mm-hmm. But when you saw her character model, I'm like, what happened to you? Are you sure you're my student now?
She got rid of that braid. I hated that braid on her. Her hair down looks so nice, and that big pigtail and just flows. Ooh.
But that was a very good moment, as you've mentioned. It's just that when you get to come back in that first map where you feel like it's against all odds at you and for me it was Sedith that I was with during the church, and it's like this map feels too easy, or what's going to happen? And all these people start coming in. It's like this is getting really hard, and your student gets to come in from the top left corner and like, I thought you need help. I'm like, oh my god, come on kids, come in here, give me a big hug. It's good to see you. And then like another one pops at the other corner, like, oh my god, it's more of you.
What about you, Nathan?
And I think a lot of my favorite moments was hanging out with Edelgard, but like after time skip, she becomes almost unnaturally obsessed with you. So she gets to the point where she's like, she locks herself in her room, and she's just like, because you visit her in her room one time, and you notice that she's drawing pictures of you in her room. So she's like, she locks herself in her room. She's like, yes, I'm actually drawing pictures of you.
Does she have a block and a sledgehammer in the room too? By the way,
I'm your number one fan.
No, she doesn't. But I just found that kind of strangely endearing. That like after you side with her, she's just like this is like the greatest human being on this planet, and I need to be with. Like I felt like so compelled at that point. I was like, should I just marry Edelgard? Because it just feels canon at this point.
The game wants you to.
Yeah, the game wants you to really bad. They're just like, look at this girl. She like completely like she wants to be with you, and that's kind of the moment for me. Was I had that moment of like, basically when the menu comes up, says, who do you want to marry? Who do you want to spend the rest of your life with? And I was like, I spent a bit of time on that decision. I was like, who do I really want to do? Do I want to do Edelgard?
It then becomes like Doki Doki Literature Club. It's the only option is Edelgard.
So your favorite moment is when you got Stockholm syndrome for Edelgard?
I don't know who these other students are, but Edelgard seems like a fine choice.
Yeah. No, that was one of the moments that really stuck out with me. It was just seeing that moment where she kind of lets down her walls, and she just really like opens up to you. I like that a lot about her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think one of my least favorite moments inside the whole game are situations that I feel like I didn't have any choice over. Like, when you're, and this might play into the writing of the game here, but when you're expecting an outcome of a game because you're playing that route and the outcome doesn't happen that same way. My case in point is what happens with Rhea. In the church route, you get to see her, and she's like this old, decrepit. Well, I can't see she's old. Well, she is old, decrepit
she's
looking. It's funny. Yeah, she's very old. But she looks like she's 30. But
which is a refreshing relief from looking like she's 9.
Yeah, of course. Which, by the way, her Flan and she gets with a friend of Dad and everything, and like it's so weird. Why does she have to marry somebody? But anyway, what I'm getting at is that between Rhea, it's like I didn't like the writing with her a little bit. I think she had a good character with her, and I think what made me hate her probably was because of the writing, and that is actually good writing in some opinion. If I can hate a character, that's good writing. That means I actually felt for that character. I showed empathy for that character, but I didn't like where she turned it out to be. I didn't like she was some type of Messiah-like person, and she was trying to manipulate life. And like you could have spun it in a different way. Like you were something else. Like she had more motives than what she's seen, but she had character. It was confusing, but it was a shame that all that stuff got dumped at the very end of the game. If they would put that at the very beginning, and I know again it was for story purposes, I think I would have liked her better, but I was disappointed that her character development just was dumped at the very last maps. It was all dumped over there.
So you think you could have grown to like her eugenics?
I
if you just knew about it. All I ask for is honesty, Rhea. It's all I want.
You know what's funny? It's just I missed a relationship moment with Rhea, and I was told that there was some critical moment I was supposed to share with her in her chambers, I guess, that apparently if you don't do it, she forever remains at you can never talk to her, you can't do anything with her, you can't marry her, you can't do anything at all.
Yeah,
right.
I remember that,
yeah.
I wonder if that's why she was so nice, because I did do Rhea supports in my playthrough.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like she does turn out so nice in the Golden Deer playthrough is because I talked to her.
Yeah, and it might be because my playthrough was, I guess, ultimately going to kill her, but I don't know. I really don't know.
So are we going through least favorite moments in the game now?
I guess.
I'm still trying to. I'm trying to really think of one. That's what
really
I'm trying to think of one too. Like I'm trying to think of a moment that I genuinely disliked.
Mine was just being nitpicky. That's all it really is.
Well, I think maybe like the repetition of instruction got a bit tiring when like I still hear the voices of some of my students in my head when they get perfect. Yeah. or just all the dining. This is my favorite. How did you know?
Oh boy, I'm stuffed.
Oh boy, I'm stuffed. Yeah, stuff like that. I need a few more voice lines.
Okay, if I had to choose something, I would say the whole lost items. I got
Lost
so
items.
late. I got so lazy at some point where I just went to one of the students and I went for every item. Like,
Yeah.
is this yours? No. This
Yeah.
yours? No.
Yeah.
This yours? No. I just kept on doing that. It was a waste of time because I refused to read about, oh, this item is like by a student who likes to do science or something. And it's like, nope, whatever. Nope, not it. Keep going. So that was probably my only least favorite is just those lost items.
Yeah,
Like
when
I kind of
you-
like
Sorry.
the lost items because it kind of like rewards you for knowing your students, but at the same time you could also
was
just
too-
brute force it and just like go through every single item.
Lazy then. I was just like, nope. Oh, there it is.
Like
Good.
I like the idea, but it was just like wasn't implemented well. Like there should be like imagine if there was like a limit to how many times you could show them that something, and then they get annoyed and it's like don't want to talk to you.
yeah.
I get fishing was also a disappointment for me too. I thought it was gonna be something better, but
Yeah.
it really was pointless when you get like past like B rank or C plus rank.
You just
It's
made
just
Flan.
like,
You made
why
Flan
fish?
happy. You just
Yeah.
made Flan happy.
You just
That's
made
it.
Flame happy.
You toss
You
Blaine
gave
a
her
raw
fish.
fish and she's good to go.
Just give her that fish. There you go.
That's a good flan. Here's a fish for you.
Yeah. I mean, actually, a personal disappointment is the fishing tournament because I ended that like without getting all my rewards from all the other students also participating. So that was a personal disappointment because, like, if you talk to them all and you show them all the fish you caught, they give you a little something.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you turn in,
Yeah.
but if you turn in the quest right away, you get nothing.
Wow. I got nothing then.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can talk to them. They give you some fairly useful stuff, so it's kind of nice
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
That's also a funny moment too when the fishing tournament actually happens. You can tell by almost every single instructor that's like, Seth told me to do this. Like, I don't know why we're doing this. Everyone's like groaning.
Yeah, then Leonie's just watching the whole thing. She's like, "What are you guys doing? We need to be training
Yes.
right now."
I love that. I love that it all started just because Flane said she wanted fish for dinner. So Seth arranges an entire fishing tournament. And then for weeks after the tournament, all the students comment about how they're sick of fish.
Yeah. Oh god.
I love this game.
Yeah, no,
It's a great game. I mean, at the end of the day, they took the slice of life for like,
Yeah.
how most animes do it, and they put it in this game, and I think they did it well, and I think the game is as good as you want it to be. If you want to skip all the supports and just do nothing but the battling and whatnot,
Yeah, you can
you
do
can
that.
do that, and it's nothing's going to stop you. But the game, those options are there.
Mhm.
But I think this game again gives you, it's like a free range Fire Emblem. Like if you want to chat to everybody, that's fine. If you want to battle with everyone, if you want this person to be nothing but a bowman, you can do that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
a
this is-
curiosity question I have is since
Okay.
we've gone through our routes, now if we go through another route, do you think you could ever love the kids the same way you did your first kids?
Yes.
No.
I don't. Well, yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard
We got a
because,
debate now.
because
Oh my.
yeah, when I go through Black Eagles, like I love those characters. Like I listed my top 3, and they're all Black Eagles. So I don't know if I could ever like go through another
Yeah.
route and be like, I like you better than this character. Like maybe as
Yeah.
a unit, but I don't know if it's a character.
I don't know. I agree. I think those are my babies. I picked them first. Like like that house called to me for a reason, right? That's why I picked it. It called to me. It spoke to me, and I loved those kids.
I feel the same way. Like Blue Lions, like compared to when I looked at all the other students, I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And I love
But
that. Like your personality is like depends on who you pick.
Oh, well, hold on, Mr. Negative over here, Kyle. Why is there a
Listen,
no?
Listen, okay. First of all, I was originally going to go with the Golden Deer, right? And then I was like, oh, well, I like some of the characters inside Black Eagles. And then I read about it because unfortunately, someone spoiled the game for me days out what the game was going to end with. I'm like, words were said that day. But anyway, I went over to Black Eagles because it's like, you know what? I want to pair it with the Edelgard. I want to do that. And then all of a sudden, everything got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on me, and just life got turned upside down. And I chose the church route, and then I realized I don't like some of these kids. And so if I play it again, I'm going to be
Look
like,
at you.
I'm gonna start handpicking the ones I like from the Black Eagles, and like the rest you can go the hell away. But like I'm not trying to be negative about it, but at the same time, it's just I had an intentions of going one route, and I didn't go that route, and I was stuck. I love the kids I was with, so they grew on me. But would I pick them again? No. So I'll pick some of them. Some is probably the right word, but not all.
Didn't pick the house that spoke to your heart. You read up on it and chose something that you think sounded cooler for plot reasons. You didn't let the kids speak to you.
But the kids spoke to me later on, so I began to warm up to it. But it was a stab in the heart when I went the church round. Me like, you know what, game? I'm gonna spite you, and that's what I did. I made sure to spite it in my own way. The game could care less, but I didn't change my class until the last moment. I didn't really talk to Rhea at all. I didn't do anything like that. For all I care, I accomplished something with me. So
you sure showed that game.
Yeah, even though the game went that way anyway. So, different perspectives, though.
I love
that. Let's see. I think we still have a bit of time. Do you guys could talk about the future of the game, because we have some DLC that's coming out.
Oh yeah.
Can we have a Fire Emblem in space or touch up on that futuristic stuff? Because I really love the music for the future route, that future map. But I think there's something there that we can do more stories with.
That was just such like hearing the CD in my car coming across that techno beat. I'm like, where did this come from? It was such a dramatic difference. I'm so used to the nice frolicky battle music, and then all that. Like, what the heck was this?
There's dubstep in my Fire Emblem. What is this?
I know. I just kind of. I think that they could have something there, like they have like a pre-date Fire Emblem 3 houses where they have a map where you would just, do all that stuff, see what happened, seeing that storyline kind of unplayed. Even if it's like 3 or 4 maps, I would love to see that as a DLC.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys saw that they revealed some DLC. Not like it was translated from Japanese, so it might have been like mistranslated or whatever. But I think they revealed it. So we have first thing that's for free. First, everyone gets this one. Is Yuritsa will be added in as a playable character first on some routes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't think we have talked about Yuritsa.
I don't know how that would work, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know if we haven't talked about Yuritsa.
That's true.
Like, it's heavily like I'm pretty sure he is the Death Knight. Like that, pretty sure that was implied. Yes,
and that's Mercedes' brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember Mercedes and Yuritsa talking about each other. They're just like, I've seen like Mercedes is like that guy Yuritsa looks familiar. Then Yuritsa's just like, the Mercedes, huh?
Yeah. I kind of put it together because I don't know. I did a Mercedes support with someone else, and then she talked about her past of moving from house to house and how she had a brother, and then you run into Yuritsa who says Mercedes, and then it's like, oh, so that's the connection, and then that must mean he's the Death Knight. But I think in the Blue Lions route, I think you actually have a battle where he reveals himself. Is that right, Kat?
I think if it's a battle if you do Mercedes paralogue, and apparently if you kill the Death Knight with Caspar during that paralogue, then you'll have that scene after.
Oh.
I mean, I know in my route I did kill him. I remember that.
I don't know if you killed him with like
Caspar. You have to kill him with Caspar in the paralogue, apparently.
Oh.
We'll have to check that one out.
See, this is the thing about this. Is that the game doesn't really tell you what to do or who to kill with. Because if I were to know some of that stuff, then I guess, but it gives him some, maybe unknown factor of replayability of did I do it right?
Yeah, because for the most part in Fire Emblem games, if you kill, say, like a story-specific character with, like, or you talk to someone with the main character, then usually something will pop up. So that is a way you can save some people in this game, because I think I mentioned earlier with Flame how when you can fight her, if you kill her with anyone else other than Byleth or the Avatar character, then she'll die. But if you defeat her with Byleth, then she retreats instead. So stuff like that.
But I think I saw some of the more DLC too. One of them is it's minor, something about I don't know, interacting with the dogs and cats. For God's sake.
Yeah, easy money. Just mention that.
Yeah, I'm like, Why would you put dogs and cats in a game if you can't interact with
I
them?
mean, I was guilty when I first played it. I tried to do something with the dog or cat.
Everyone
wanted
did.
to do something.
Everyone harassed a dog and a cat, but no, ruined the game of the year chances.
No,
now it's going to get released in DLC.
No. You can interact with them and have a tea party with the dog or cat.
Oh, that'd be great to have a tea party.
Cat knocks things off the thing. Dog keeps dipping his face into the tea.
Yes, I would love that.
Oh my god. I want to pet that fat cat, the really fat one. I want him. I've had my eye on that fat cat.
The one thing we haven't talked about at all for
What?
the whole thing is the greenhouse. Did anyone else do the greenhouse?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
every
Okay.
single time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was about to say,
Plant, cultivate, harvest, done.
that
all
was
you
my
do.
main way of getting up my professor rating, was just the greenhouse.
I did fishing.
Fishing was my way, and then just stuffing food down students' mouths.
Yeah, the food was my go-to for
Here's
food.
cake. You want cake? Too bad.
Well,
Made you
it's not-
happier.
It's the twofold thing. So you can get professor rank up, and you can get support up. So
Yes.
That's true.
that's one of my main reasons. That's why I think for most of the students I had, like I recruited everybody pre-time skip, everybody that could, anyway, because I
Wow.
couldn't. Yeah,
That was a jaunting
Yeah.
task there.
yeah.
I
on
recruited
the-
absolutely no one.
yeah, on the last day, I recruited Lawrence and who was it? There's another character, but
For Lawrence.
yeah, last day I recruited Lawrence, so I couldn't do his paralogue, which sucked because Lysithia for me wasn't as good as she could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually managed to do it, and the way I was able to do it is just by spamming the feeding all the kids to get the supports with me up.
Our kids are somewhat obese now for some reason. We don't know why.
Well, you don't see past their chest when they sit on the table, so you don't see those guts hanging down. And then when they stand up, they just suck it in, so you don't notice it at all. Now, some of the other DLC that we're getting, we already got their uniforms of like the gym attire,
Yeah,
but now
the
the basketball apparel. But soon we are going to get butlers and maids.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm.
That's
I feel
right.
like the obvious ones.
Now, I will admit, if they keep on going down this route, so they were very clothed. Now we're getting a little bit less, just a little bit. Will we go swimsuit?
Well,
I think
we're
that's
getting the
It's
sauna.
gonna be, yeah.
We're getting the
I think
sauna.
it's
So
yeah. It's absolutely gonna be swimsuits.
Oh, I will pay for that DLC. That would be
my
like,
God.
ding, $5. Take it. I will take swimsuit DLC.
I want lunar style bromaids.
Oh God! But I think the weirdest thing is that the sauna is there throughout the whole entire stuff, and
Yeah.
back of my mind thought it was gonna be something that we're gonna see at some point every single
Yeah.
time, and the time skip happened and still nothing.
yeah.
I thought possibly it could have been like a detention. Like, if the student was bad, they could
So
go
Ben
to
go
the...
to the sauna.
You go to the hot
No, I didn't think it was going to be a sauna.
Go to the
I
one place to
thought it was-
relax your muscles.
I
You've
thought
been
it was a
bad.
detention. Like, if the student did bad or something, you could put them there and then they could relearn or do better. That's what I thought.
Gonna
maybe.
do your time in the chokey.
Oh God!
That's a Matilda reference for some of you out there. Not
Yeah.
But knowing that the game itself with the DLC is going to give other enhancements for replayability, and knowing how much further they can go with it might start to teeter here soon. But I think this next DLC will be enjoyable.
Yeah. Then for the last DLC, we have an even harder mode. Apparently, of maddening, we have abyssal mode.
Lunatic Plus, maybe.
Apparently, early screenshots said every enemy's level 99, but I'm just like, there's no way that could possibly be a thing. There's no way we're fighting
No.
level 99 enemies with our level 1 characters.
Maybe if you're allowed to do like a new game plus, and then up the difficulty to that, then yeah, I don't see how that even be possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just lose instantly on the first map.
Honestly, I could see that be a drinking game. It's like every time your student dies, you take a shot. You don't get past like month 1. You're stuck there because it's just impossible.
You die in real life.
Speaking about dying in this game, I know that permadeath, and this is something I should have said like earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go back.
Did permadeath get ruined for any of you guys because of divine pulses? Like
Only a couple
like,
times.
because I'm like, permadeath wasn't a thing for me. I wasn't even afraid of permadeath because of divine pulse. Because someone dies, like, oh, I'm stupid. I go back with divine pulse and I do it. But like, and I'm sorry, to the people out there who play Fire Emblem. I play Fire Emblem for the story in this one, so I played on normal mode.
Well,
I play on hard mode.
No, you also streamed it, so I understand that purpose.
But the point is that on hard mode, Divine Pulse is still there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in maddening mode, do you know if Divine Pulse ever gets removed?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Oh,
No.
come on.
Maybe that's what abysmal mode will be. Is it's gone.
Abysmal
You get rid of
Don't
Divine
have it.
Pulse, and now you have okay, the crap's gonna hit the fan. Now you gotta have to go ahead and live with this mistake.
I suppose the one thing is with Divine Pulse that is part of the story because that's like something that Sothis gives you is that ability, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
But when you could make it so you can only do it once per battle, that might be a change you could do.
Okay.
The way I've always seen permadeath is when I was playing like Game Boy Fire Emblems. If someone died, I didn't want that, so I would just reset.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So-
one of those people too. I save scum, so that's
And-
I don't care. I don't care.
And yeah, in a way, it's just saving me the hassle if I'm to do this whole map 15 times, which I appreciate. But if I did want to do an Iron Man run, if someone dies, they stay dead. I have to progress. At least that's an option, you know. That permadeath is still a thing. They can spice up your gameplay, sort of thing.
yes.
So I really appreciate that. That's,
And I know-
that's
I mean,
how I
yeah,
view
we have that
permadeath.
option. Yeah.
And I know you
Yeah.
don't have to use Divine Pulse. Sure, that it's only used for the main character or any of the people that shouldn't have died. But if the main character dies, you are forced to use Divine Pulse if you have it, unless you
Yeah.
have nothing left.
Mhm.
But I guess one could argue saying, well, you don't have to use Divine Pulse then. I
Mhm.
get that, but it's a game mechanic. It's there. You can do it. It's tempting, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a rewind. That's all it really is.
Yeah, you have to actually stop yourself from using the thing the game is giving you.
Yeah, and that makes it like a weird choice. I
Mhm.
don't have to restart my game, but I don't want to use something that the game's kind of giving me, and it lasts throughout the whole map too. If you went to 5 turns later and you wanted to Divine Pulse to the first
Right.
turn, you could do that.
I mean, I remember some things with Divine Pulse. It's like I couldn't even remember where that move I did wrong was, and I had to backtrack
Yeah, back all
2
the way.
turns.
You waste 4
Yeah.
Divine Pulses to figure out what that turn was.
Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't. Some of them I was stuck on. It's where did I mess up?
My favorite Divine Pulse is the Divine Pulse where you go back, but you miss it by one turn or the
Yeah.
one action. So you have to use a second Divine Pulse just to go back one tiny action.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I've done that twice.
It's the classic. The classic.
Sometimes I'll accidentally make the same move that I did before. I was like, wait, I wasn't supposed to do that again.
It happens the exact same way the same time before. I didn't really learn that about Divine Pulse until the first time I went against Death Knight, and that was the first time I used Divine Pulse, I believe, and at least the game didn't force me to use it. And I didn't realize that if you just go back and just redo your moves again, it's the same outcome every single time.
Yeah, you have to change the RNG by doing a different action before going back and trying that action again.
It took me 4 Divine Pulses to figure that out.
It's kind of like if you go back, say an enemy crits you and kills the character, and then you rewind right before the enemy moves again, it'll still crit you again. So you just have to do something to change it. It usually involve like going back to another turn or going back to before you move the character and then changing how you move the characters around.
I just did
Change
3 moves before, so I know that enough in the RNG has changed. Ooh,
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry about that.
that's okay. Jolted me there for a second.
Sorry.
All right, so there's one other thing. I think they're adding in 4 new characters, I believe. They're playable. Oh, sorry, it's 5. The third one is out. So the 5th one is Anna. She'll be added in for the
Yay, Anna.
third wave. I mean, we had to have Anna.
Our secret
playable.
assassin.
But there's 5 crests that aren't accounted for in this game that you can get through the crest items. Once you go to New Game Plus, you have the crest items. There's 4 characters who don't have there's 5 crests that characters don't have. So people are assuming that there's 4 new characters plus Anna, so they'll probably have those 5 characters will have the 5 crests.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mention how they'll interact in the main story or not.
Yeah,
They might just appear or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know how much they'll affect and anything. Because they said the 4th DLC will be story, but there's nothing in here that really says that the story will change at all. In the DLC notes anyway.
Unless they add a 5th route, again as I mentioned before about
DLC route.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because what I was thinking was they probably do a power friendship route where everyone gets together and.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love that.
Like,
Oh,
all-
no.
I like it as a fan, but I also feel like it kind of ruins like
Oh
what I
no,
feel
it
is like a
absolutely
message of the
ruins
game.
it. Absolutely ruins it, but I would like that.
Because then you wouldn't,
Just my heart likes it, but my mind
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
you wouldn't have to murder kids. You just keep on going against monsters and other people, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the problem is that it'd probably be a weak story route just because like a lot of the things that's compelling about this game is going up against your students and
Yeah.
you know
It's pure
and
fan fiction.
yeah, it's basically fighting for your ideals, right? That's the way like like basically every single route is this character has this way of thinking and they're going to fight for this particular route or for this particular ideal.
Yeah.
So if you do like a power friendship route, it kind of ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess halfway through they could kind of like introduce a new bigger bad we all have to unite against kind of thing, but it's
But it wouldn't be as fun.
it wouldn't be as interesting.
no, but I think what Fire Emblem Three Houses did was something that was different, but in a good way. I remember when I was being on a podcast a while back ago when we talked about like what if spin-offs type of thing. And I don't know at the time if Fire Emblem was even considering this, but it was kind of funny that I mentioned this before. But I wanted to have a Fire Emblem that wanted to have like you interact with your people, like have those relationships. You walk around and it's kind of like a slice of life type of thing. And it came true. And like I go back to that podcast and I listen to it and it's creepy. Because I predicted the future. So
Nintendo had this plan many months and years ago.
Nintendo just was listening to our podcast, like,
Yeah.
sounds like a good idea. We'll take it for ourselves.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think you have a case for a lawsuit.
We have it on record. But
I just hope as Fire Emblem continues to gain its fan base, that it just continues to also grip at our heartstrings and
Yeah.
have these bonds be made and want us to keep on buying new installments.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's one thing that I always wish is that you keep up like loving these characters. That's the main thing that Fire Emblem appeals to me for.
Yeah. They could honestly make a Three Houses 2. Like, that's how rich these characters are and the world is. They could set this in like 40 years in the future and the same sort of world.
no,
and
I don't know if
it'd
that
be-
would actually work though, because if we already have 3 different routes, then the game's gonna have to make one of those routes canon.
Or
in some way.
you just transfer your save file.
I
That-
still,
The world is like it was built from that route.
I still think Edelgard's path is canon. You guys can dispute me at any point, but I still think it's canon.
The Golden Deer route ends racism. I think I win.
Well, I think what the church route is that, I mean, I can definitely say how Edelgard's route would be canon, which and maybe we should have discussed a little earlier about who was right, who was wrong. I think it left your interpretation to the game.
is.
I think overall, because
Yeah, it's completely
again,
is.
I had a debate saying Edelgard was right. Edelgard actually was justified and the church was bad. And I heard the other side of, well, Edelgard is bad and the church was right. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, wow, this is how wars start, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
God.
exactly
I mean-
the way it is. Yeah,
The correct answer is Claude was right. Claude like does the same thing as Edelgard. He just like takes control of all the countries, makes them one country, the sort of dictatorship that Edelgard does. But it has like a vision beyond that. It's like ending racism, opening up the borders, and
Yeah.
like
More peaceful.
I mean,
okay, so more heroic.
Edelgard has a plan. Her plan is to abolish the nobility. Basically, she wants to have people be in positions of power that deserve to be in positions of power, not because the crust says you are.
But I think the one thing that I may have been determined, and maybe this is why I had this Granger thing that I think the church was setting up to kill my dad, that at the end of the day, Edelgard killed your dad. At the end of the day. Or one could say it was those that slid in the dark that did it, but they were working with Edelgard, i.e. the Flame Emperor. And I was like, well, because of that, I don't think you're good. You have very sound good intentions, and you're very convincing, but you killed my dad. So
The thing is, Edelgard still regrets the fact that it happened, right? Remember, she like in her
she
route,
does, but
she just doesn't like those who slither in the dark. She just has to work with them because she's whatever the leader is her uncle, and she needs to work with him just to placate him. But
Yeah.
she gets rid of them like by the end of the game. Or,
And maybe
in
if I
epilogue
continue to play on that route, and maybe I show more empathy, saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry it happened to your dad. That didn't mean to be that way." But when I was playing the church route, I was like, you need to die because stuff has happened." But in a way, I see it how both sides are right and wrong. But again, it's left to your interpretation. Whatever you thought was the best route for you, you like that route, and whatever you interpret it, that's what you interpret it as. If you want to think that everyone's aliens at the end of the day, fine, they're all aliens.
I mean, one of the nice things of hearing everybody's experience, it makes me want to play each one of your routes. I just probably won't be as hardcore as I have with the Blue Lions.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just do like normal casual and just to get the other storylines. I would love to see it myself, even though, there's YouTube and whatever about it. I need to experience it myself.
Yeah.
Well, your first time was always your best time.
Yeah, New Game Plus also. Oh.
Is that what it is, Kyle? Uh-huh. Got it.
No, not really. That came out much more wrong than it should have been. But your first time was always your questionable time. I don't know. But no, I do agree with Katherine though. It's just that I feel that if I had to play the game through again, I don't feel like the effort would be there. I think the effort would just say, I want to complete the storyline. I want to see what happens in that one. I won't have the same attachment to the kids. I will not have the same attachment to,
I'll recruit all the ones I can that I loved.
I personally, me as in Kyle, won't have the same attachment to anybody. Okay.
Got it.
Sorry, I wasn't generalizing. I was just focusing just on me right now. I won't have the same attachment.
We're having a lover's quarrel right here. Right, I
guess. It happens. So...
Either way, the reason why I still think Elgar's canon is because she's the singer of the main theme song, so therefore she's right.
Oh well, that's proof.
Well, you bring it up that way.
Well, if you listen to the lyrics of if you ever play Black Eagle's route and do her route, then listen to the main theme song. It just makes so much sense.
You're such an Edelgard fanboy.
Yeah. No.
It just makes sense, you guys. It just makes sense.
It just makes sense, guys.
I totally agree with it. Yeah, it just makes sense. While the church people says, no, it didn't make any sense.
It comes to the conclusion we cannot have just one best boy or girl. We cannot.
Yeah. No, you can't. No. The characters in the game are too good for that.
And again, I think for those that, if for whatever reason you are listening to this podcast now and you just ruined the whole game for you, and now you want to play the game, I even though we've spoiled everything that we possibly could spoil inside this game,
there's still more.
There's still things that you're gonna play. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff in there of which I feel that. Again, every experience is different. By the time you get into the 5th, 7th, or 10th map in this game, you're going to have that attachment to those kids that you didn't think you're going to have before. You're going to go in there saying, I'm going to hate X, Y, and Z. You turn to love them. So it's always going to be different. This game has that pull on you, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Like, we're going to this game thinking, I'm going to hate Ferdinand, I'm going to hate Lorenz. And like, these guys just look like just complete asshats. Yeah. But by the end of the game, I was just like, these guys end up being like really great characters that I just fell in love with.
Yeah. Dude.
Those are the two I killed.
In another world, I killed both of you, but now I like you two.
We'll be wrapping up.
Yeah, we're just about to wrap up here. So, thanks you guys for joining me for this episode. It was great talking about this game. Like, I finally feel like I got like a lot of stuff out of my system. Now I don't feel like it's just. I don't feel like it all just built up inside me and just need to have it released. So it's good to talk about this. Alright, so next week on Retro Encounter, Michael Solosi will be back to talk about another recent release, the Link's Awakening remake on Switch. Yeah, we're going back to back with now with games that just came out. What was this podcast becoming?
I'm surprised we haven't gone that yet, Kyle.
Link's Awakening remake?
Yeah.
Don't judge. We didn't get the game yet.
To be fair, I haven't gone yet either, but I also had Ni no Kuni. Now I got Ni no Kuni that day instead, so there's that to do. So for the remainder of the month, we have 2 Game Journal episodes covering the first Grandia game. So that will be out for the end of October. If you want to get into contact with us, please email us at retro@rpgfan.com. And don't forget to check us out on social media like our Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram. Yeah, Leona here will be happy to chat with
I'm sorry, I was trying to hold back.
I'm like, are you going to say something about that?
There's another social media, please.
Yeah, so don't forget to also join us on our forums for RPG
Oh my
and
God.
our Discord server.
God.
There's a Discord server.
Leona's gone. Leona's like, I'm going to find you and murder you now, Nathan.
It's really good.
Yes, come join us on Discord server. Seriously though, we have a lot of we have a lot of great active members of our community you can talk to, and feel free to discuss anything RPG related.
Yes.
And of course, we have our Twitch channel here, and Kyle and Katherine here are definitely not a part of this Twitch channel that I'm promoting. Definitely not
our
our
Twitch
two
channel gets
streamers.
promoted last.
We miss you, Nathan. You should
I
come
know.
back.
I know. I gotta find some time to do it. But when I do, I want to.
Play with us, Nathan.
Once I have a schedule down, I do want to return to streaming though.
We all have done it, minus Scott. So by all means, it really helped me out to get the motivation, confidence, and that hype to come back. So
Right.
by all means, take your time.
Scott's with the machine.
So yeah, so if you guys liked our streamers here on the podcast, you can join them on our Twitch channel. We have something new streaming every day, so I'm sure you'll find something to your liking.
Golden Sun.
You don't like it?
You don't
No,
like it?
I love it, but if you ever listen to one of my streams, you will hear me complain that the guidance in this game is
Shockingly bad.
It's horrible, man. love the Golden Sun series. Love it so far, but man, there's no direction. Done.
Also, check out the Golden Sun episode of the podcast that I hosted.
There you go.
Yeah,
When did
yeah.
you do that?
I did it like a few months ago with Keegan and Triss.
Oh, nice.
No, I didn't play it by that time, so that's why I probably wasn't
Before her
joined.
love decided to blossom and this
Ah.
hatred for logs and everything.
That's the first. That's the first one. I hate logs. First one, I hate logs.
So we also have our other podcast, RPG Fan, Random Encounter, hosted by Greg Delmage, where we talk about current events and other RPGs the panelists have been playing. There's also Rhythm Encounter, where we discuss highlights in RPG music, but the podcast is on hiatus at the moment. And don't forget to rate us on iTunes or however you're listening to us. We do appreciate the feedback. And to wrap things up, how can we find you all on social media?
You
Which
can
one
find
of
me-
the?
Yeah.
Everybody, don't
There's at least three of us here.
talk all at once, guys.
Fight for it. Fight.
Leona, go. Now.
Leona, let's start with you. We'll start with you, Leona.
You can find me on Twitter at StarMongoose, and you can find me on our Discord server at StarMongoose also.
Kyle?
I don't. You kids and your social media. I don't have a Twitter, unfortunately, but you can always find me on Twitch. Any single time you see an Albert Redfield somewhere like that, that's more than likely me. But it's kyle.kortvely@rpgfan.com if you want to send me some email toward my way, or if you want to come over to the Twitch channel, I'll be streaming something along those lines. But yeah, if you see an Albert Redfield, that's more than likely me.
More than likely, there's going to be more than one of you.
I have seen other ones who've stolen the name, so if you see an ex Albert Redfield, that may also be me as well. So,
Pretenders.
so if you're out there, pretenders, I know who you are.
And for myself, with Katherine, you can find me Mondays currently, maybe a second day soon, for RPG fans, Twitch streaming, continuing the Golden Sun, The Lost Age. And if not that, you can also find me on my personal Twitch channel, The Nerdy Cat with 2 T's. And a K, no
And a
C.
K.
Oh, trust me, with
And a B.
Katherine's, it has to be a K.
Yeah, the
No C.
Katherine in Three Houses is the C.
I know, I
Yeah.
was so disappointed. I could have finally had a character named after me. I was so disappointed. I was heartbroken.
I stole her sword and gave it to Dorothea for some reason.
I stole her sword too.
I think everyone steals her sword. Alright, as for myself, you can find me at SmashKing27 on Twitter. On our Discord, I am SmashKing. And you can find me on my Twitch channel, streaming every Friday, usually. Kind of. It's usually whenever I can find the time when I'm not super busy on Fridays. I'm SmashKing TV on Twitch. And for that, I think we are just about done for today.
Yeah, that was good fun.
That was a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
Alright, listeners, that's it for today. Good night, and good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.